The Pat McAfee Show.
There'll be no rules for our guests, for us, for the things we can talk about.
Yes, speaking his mind.
I've never had a problem expressing my opinions or my thoughts or anything like that.
While being relatable.
I haven't had that manufactured fake-ass celebrity that a lot of people have whenever they go on those big networks. I've had a chance to really build my crew, build my following, build my audience.
And ridiculous.
What am I supposed to do? So I'm supposed to look at something that I can definitely afford and say, nah. Is that what I'm supposed to do?
The Pat McAfee Show starts in 3, 2, 1.
Good afternoon, beautiful people. It is Thursday, April 15th, 2021, years after zero. And I'm officially up to something. Shout out to Twine for that beat drop, and shout out to you for listening or watching wherever the hell you may be. And if you're on Sirius XM and you're driving down the road or maybe in an office and you can't watch along, you haven't got a chance to just see a blatant, obvious difference in today's studio versus every other day we've ever done this show. If you're watching on youtube.com/The Pat McAfee Show, we cannot thank you enough for spending time with us day to day. The music, Zito. Day to day. The whole first hour might have had music playing there. Yeah. Crushed it, Zito. Appreciate you, buddy.
Z.
Oh, Zito is here. Breaking news number 1.
There it is. There it is.
Breaking news number 2. We are in our road studio. Breaking news number 3. We do not want to tell you exactly where we are right now. You can go ahead and guess where you think we are. We will be announcing a $7,500 giveaway later in the show whenever AJ Hawk will be joining us. I believe he'll be joining us for the second hour and the third hour today. Wow. So I believe in about an hour from now, we will be announcing a hashtag giveaway for $7,500 for whoever can tweet the most accurate guess of what they think I'm going to announce within the next couple days. I was in a meeting earlier this morning. This was supposed to be over the next few weeks. This thing got expedited quickly. Zito's been building the studio in anticipation that this would be happening. And I want to let you know, this place is gorgeous.
Magnificent.
At Boston Connor and Ty Schmidt are sitting in here. The Toxic Table will be joining me live in the Road Studio. Boys, could have never guessed this place to be this nice. Zito, Tim McAfee, CFO Phil really want to work and made this magic happen.
Absolutely. And I'll tell you what, the weather up here is much nicer than I expected.
Yeah.
I was expecting it to be a little bit chilly. I really didn't pack appropriately, if you will. But I'll tell you what, I am very impressed. Compared to what we were doing in the box truck, we talked about that. I mean, we might as well be, I feel like we're in L.A. at some big dick swinging studio.
At Boston Connor, you were on hiatus from our company while we were on the road. And for those that are very new to our show, which is we get to see a lot of data, there's a lot of new people here. And we can't thank you enough for why ever the fuck you choose to watch this show. But last fall, okay, not this COVID fall before that.
Right.
Yeah.
We had a schedule. And everybody saw, obviously, me on Get Up. There would be clips of me on Get Up that would hit the internet. And even if you weren't watching the show full time, you did see me, Rex Ryan, or Slavsky, Greenberg,
Ryan Clark.
We made some magic happen. Every single Monday, Overreaction Monday happened on Get Up for me on ESPN with Greenberg. Greenberg asked me to do that. He said, I would love to have you in studio. It'd be better. I said, sounds good. That's in New York. We were doing a daily show at the time. So we had to figure out, okay, now we're going to be in New York on Mondays. We got to figure out a studio to do our daily show. At that time, I think we were live on YouTube. Not a lot of people were watching.
Yeah,
that.
we were.
We were live on YouTube. We were live on radio, I think.
Westwood One
terrestrial radio, which is FCC radio. So we had to put on this show while still being an Indianapolis company. We had to make this thing happen. So the Monday morning Get Up thing gets offered, and we all agree, it's a good idea. It'd be a good commercial. It's Overreaction Monday, too. Mondays are the best fucking days of the fall because whatever happened in the last 24 hours, you can be absolutely obnoxious about it, especially on those shows where they're just asking you to dial it up to 45 or whatever. You know what I mean? So that's like what that show is about. So I would go in there on 12 every Monday morning, waking up 5 a.m. because they had production meetings like 5:30 or whatever in the morning for that show. They got to go through everything. We would fly into New York Sunday nights before Sunday Night Football.
Yep.
Second half of the 4 o'clock games because try to watch all the football. So then we would have to do the show from New York on Mondays. We'd hop in a plane, fly back to Indianapolis Monday afternoon. So then you would think just do the show in Indianapolis the rest of the week. No. Then I was asked to do Thursday Night Football by Matt Hasselbeck. Matt Hasselbeck was getting Thursday Night Football alongside Adam Amin and Molly McGrath, and he said, would love for you to do this with us. Could we please make this happen? I was like, going to be tough because obviously Thursday Night Football would be in another city. Matt was like, we think it'd be cool. Think about it, though. He didn't want to force me, but he was like, just think about it. So we thought, get a chance to commentate some games. Okay, let's do that. So now we got to figure out how to do the show in New York on Monday, have to figure out how to do the show in some bumblefuck college town on Thursday Night Football.
Yep.
And then whenever College Game Day got entered into the mix, then Fridays I was flying. Thursday we'd fly back to Indianapolis. Fridays I would fly to wherever College Game Day was. Then I would fly back on Saturdays. Then Sundays we would fly to New York and put that thing on repeat for 13 weeks, okay? Thought we were going to die.
Yeah.
So now we were potentially staring down another road studio opportunity. And what we chose to do then was a box truck studio that drove around the country to every place we were. We hired a driver. We were in the back of a box truck. There was 7,000 issues every single time we went live. Never missed a show. Okay?
Never.
Back of a box truck, middle of some interesting neighborhoods in some cities where outside there was potential real shit going on. We're standing in the back of a box truck, screaming, dancing, yelling for 3 hours or 2 hours at the time. It was just something crazy. So whenever this opportunity was potentially going to present itself where it's like, hey, might have to move a little bit. We had to figure out how to do it. Zito, Tim, said, hey, we'll build a road studio. We don't have, because Zito was a part of that box truck experience too, and it was a nightmare.
Oh, yeah.
I'm going to let you know, it was a long-ass season. It almost died. I think we all almost died on numerous occasions, not just because the planes almost went down, but because we were running on 40, 45 minutes of sleep on most nights.
Every night.
Coming out and doing a show, and some people will be like, yeah, not a lot of energy as other days. It's like, well, fuck, we've been in our 14th city in 10 days. Will you please get off our ass? So we wanted to make this potential opportunity that could happen where we might have to be away for a little bit, or we might have to move a little bit better so the show could maintain a solid quality in what Zito and everybody did down here is fucking unbelievable.
Yeah.
Wait until you see this board. We moved. This studio is nicer than our studio at the office.
It might be.
This studio is nicer than the studio we have at the
Yeah,
office.
Look at this thing.
At Boston Connor, I'm thankful that you're back with the company, by the way, for this whole run. But we will be having the boys travel with us as well. There's a group that'll be on the road each week. Have to keep that fresh, by the way, for everybody. Like, it has to become something for everybody because, you know, if we have to travel for a long time, which is potentially what's going to happen, or a short time, you know, you can kind of get life on the road can wear on you a little bit.
Yeah.
So we are going to maintain connection to the studio in Indianapolis for the boys. And I'm not 100% sure if they're on right now. This will be the first time we've even attempted this. Boys, you're back in Indianapolis, yeah?
Yeah, we're here.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
We're here.
Hey, okay.
go.
All right. Will we be able to see you guys? Is that something we'll be able to do?
Doesn't seem like it, Pat.
Wow, you're coming in
Get Zito
real
to
hot.
FaceTime us here.
Yeah, you're coming in real hot, okay? We got to figure that out as well. I think Zito's going to FaceTime you guys. So I think what we're doing now, you are all on a phone call with us. So that's where the audio will come from.
Okay.
The FaceTime will be the video. The reason why the FaceTime can't be the audio is because all of this show is being sent back to the board in Indianapolis to send to Sirius.
Sure.
So if the FaceTime from them was coming through their board with the audio, you could potentially get a little bit of
Might double up.
crossing swords.
Okay.
Yep.
We learned that, by the way, in the box truck.
Yes, we did.
The show became a shit show one particular, two particular, maybe 4 particular days. So we kind of learned that lesson. But I believe the boys are here. Is this something that's going on right now? Fellas, can we see you? Gumpy! Gumpy! I cannot believe this is happening. Now, when we said we were going to come over here, you said up here earlier. I said over here. Hey, Nick, wakey, pal. Huh? We're doing a show.
Hey, it's nice to be able to see you guys. We've been listening to the show like some stooges on the radio. Can't even see what you're talking about. You look good.
Hey, listen.
Studio looks good.
Hey, listen, I want to let everybody know, those that listen only on the radio, we appreciate the hell out of you.
Oh,
Love
yeah.
you guys.
We understand. I don't know how you do it.
Yeah.
I can't do it. I don't know how anybody. I have to see the motherfucker that's talking for me to really appreciate it. But I want to let you know we appreciate our Sirius XM family. COVID Cowboy, Tone Diggs, how you doing, pal?
I'm doing great, pal.
Mitt
Mitt
cutting cameras?
for me. You need some trick.
Hey, Mitt, fucking dial it down, pal, okay? You're bouncing around here middle. Hey, Mitt, how you doing?
Mitt.
How you doing, man? Good to see you, Mitt. All right.
work, dude.
Hey, this ain't an exercise for how fast your fingers can move over there, Mitt, okay?
on.
Let's try to put on at least a little bit of a show here. You're doing great work, Mitt. We appreciate you. Let's stick with the COVID Cowboy here. But the ability to chat with the boys in Indianapolis while we're over here and potentially do a show in a better studio than they're in.
Yeah.
This is going to be an amazing run. Very thankful for it. We'll be announcing a $7,500 giveaway in about an hour where the people who have followed along, and I appreciate, by the way, everybody getting invested in this. It might be because there ain't other shit going on.
Could be.
Maybe.
There ain't much shit going on right now. I mean, there's things for us to talk about today. We got a big show packed today. Very excited about it. The sports gods have rained down some riches on us today for us to actually have a conversation about something at this point. But Diggs, I absolutely love the fact that you can chime in with some incredible stat or factoid that you have in the middle of this conversation anytime I get going.
Well, and you talked about the giveaway that you're doing today. The FanDuel hammered down rollover that we do every single day where you have to put a 10-leg parlay together.
Yeah.
Is up to $1,750. So
Whoa!
that could also be a giveaway too.
Hey, we're giving away what? 8,000? Do the math. 200, 750. You get it. Hey.
A lot of money.
A lot of money.
On the table.
Hey, that's more than a stimulus check.
Yeah, it is.
That's a lot more than a stimulus
8
check.
stimulus
Listen,
checks.
we're giving out stimulus checks today, and we're going to continue to do that because we're all in this goddamn thing together. And what I'm potentially doing is paying us a pretty good amount of money. So, I mean, we will just try to give that away because I feel like that is the best life served, actually, to be honest. I don't know how other people don't do it. I appreciate and respect it. I was actually thinking about this morning. Diggs, believe it or not, I got 90 to 94 minutes of sleep last night at this place.
Well, where you are over there, up there.
Hey, by the way not to fuck that up because you have not been around us all morning. We've been having full conversations. The fact that you just jumped right in the water here without really hearing our off camera.
Yeah, well
way
done.
to go,
Atta boy,
COVID.
Tony.
Hey, that's tip of the cap.
Street smarts, my friend. Not necessarily book smart, but street smarts. I do know how to stay alive in this world. there's a lot of street traffic where you're at. A lot of honking, a lot of ambulances, maybe something like that.
No, that was not it.
Not really.
No.
That was not it. It's actually really. It's almost like deserted.
Place is haunted.
Yeah,
It's almost
yeah.
like where we're
Empty.
We had to get a full internet. Listen, the internet company thing that had to happen. They had to come. It's almost like we maybe created internet where we're at. Here. Yeah, but they did a great job. They did an absolutely
Unbelievable.
incredible job. Now, in doing so, though,
They did cut the cable wire.
they just
right.
completely cut the TV cable wire. Yeah, so no TV. All right.
But you got to watch an unbelievable movie last night, if I do recall.
Netflix had restricted content pin needed for the particular TV setup that I was in. I guessed maybe, I would say 100 different pins on all their different accounts they had in there, right? The whole family setup. Never got it. Could only watch PG shit. Watched Cat in the Hat. Fucking what? Who's watching that?
What a classic.
Then I watched Thunder Force.
Oh, you lucky dog.
Thunder
you
Force.
didn't.
I had
You
to. It's a
didn't watch
PG.
Thunder Force.
It's a PG movie. I had to. It was the only thing. I just stared at the ceiling for 5-6 hours last night. I brought no melatonin of any. I didn't bring my CBD PM. I dropped the fucking ball here. So I'm gonna get a little bit loopy here, probably about an hour or two.
Sure.
But big
You
day.
sent,
big
you
day.
sent the you sent the Avatar movie poster at 4:18 a.m. So I knew you were
Yeah. So what had happened was, I turned that Cat in the Hat on.
Yep.
Of course.
I got through that whole movie, realized that I'm not gonna be able to just watch this type of shit.
Yeah, sure.
This ain't gonna work.
No way.
This ain't gonna get me mentally invested enough to wear me out to put me to sleep. Does that make sense? I
Yeah.
feel like that's how my brain works.
Right.
A lot of people don't want to watch good shit late at night because they don't want to get invested. For me, I feel like while watching the good stuff, I get invested, and by that point, my brain's already tired. It kind of puts me out. It's like it's almost like a 1-2 punch that the intriguing shit does to my brain to put me out. Now, last night, PG shit. There's nothing interesting. Like whenever I have a kid, I thought about this 3 a.m. last night. I ain't gonna be able to fake it. Yeah, there we go. We could probably appreciate you. Hey, boys, please, if you got to work, do your thing, but a little bit of alertness if we start yelling, please.
10-4.
Okay.
Yeah,
There
that'll
it
be
is.
that'll be.
Got
Over and out.
Gumpy's potentially staying in my house right now watching all the animals.
Is he really?
Someone's got
Potentially.
it.
Yeah, someone's got it because we're. Go ahead.
We had an internet cable issue there last night as well.
Oh no.
Jeez.
That's
everywhere.
The internet does not work there, pal. Cable should though. What the cable should work? That's bullshit. I'm paying a lot for that thing to get fixed. I remember I had DirecTV. It wasn't working. What do you mean?
It cut out at about 11:30, came back on at about 3 this morning.
You've got to be
Comcast. Comcast had an issue last night.
Oh, you don't say.
Gumpy's got to move the satellite, I thought.
Hey, that's a shame.
I lost
Gump.
it too.
I apologize, Gump, that just so happened to happen on your first night at my house. But I want to let you know I've been through a lot of phone calls with those people over there. I need my fucking TV to work. I know there's no internet here, so I'm paying a lot. I'm sorry that happened. Nice to know that the brother who does take all the good internet on the property, it also happened to
Even
him
him.
too. That's pretty good. All right, appreciate you, Gumpy. Let's get to it though. Shall we?
Oh, yeah. Come on.
Very thankful for this. We're going to be giving away a lot of money today. Shout out to the hashtag FanDuel Hammer Don rollover 1750, by the way.
Nothing to sneeze at.
10-leg parlay. You got to tweet it out. Minus 130, I think, are better odds. They do that every single day, by the way. Every single night they do that for the Hammer Down Show, which is live 4 p.m. daily. Also, that is something that had to be thought about while this whole thing's going on. There's been a lot going on behind the scenes, and we're appreciating you guys rocking with us. Now, let's get to some shit that's happening.
Oh, yeah.
We could talk about Alden Smith signing a 1-year deal with the Seattle Seahawks. Congrats, Alden Smith.
Good job, Alden.
The comeback tour for Alden Smith, which looked like it was never going to be likely because of how much he was fucking up. And I'm not just saying that there wasn't probably mental health things going on. I'm not saying he wasn't put into a crazy situation he probably could have never guessed. When you get a lot of money and get a lot of success, it's not always just a very easy thing for people to make that transition, especially if they're not potentially diagnosed with something going on. He fucked up, all right? He did. He would, I assume he has admitted that and has come on the other side of that. Took a couple years off, played for the Cowboys last year, gets 5 sacks. It's like, okay, Alden still has football in him. Alden still has a chance to rewrite his entire story here, it feels like. He signs with Seattle for a 1-year deal. Congrats to him. We're all happy for him.
Oh, yeah.
Very happy for Alden Smith.
Yeah.
Way to go.
Congrats, Alden.
Congrats, Alden Smith. Keep that thing going. Would have been nice maybe you come to the Colts, actually. We lost Justin Houston. Would have been nice to get a pass rusher, but good luck out there in Seattle. They need you. They re-signed Carlos Dunlap. The defense was not maybe fantastic for them last year.
No, it was.
Good move. Now, listen, they got a lot of other stuff they're going to have to figure out. They might be a tighter team than ever, by the way. After a scrap, you might come together tighter than you've ever been. If they lose, there might be some more question marks. Seattle Seahawks are a team to watch this year. But I think what I would like to talk about.
Oh, yeah.
1-888-MAD-DOG-6, by the way, is our phone calls. Mitt, it was running the cameras there, so he can't answer the phones. I wonder how they're figuring that out, actually.
Yeah.
Hey, boys, figure it out, all right?
You got it, Bill.
All right, let's
You
figure
got
it
it.
Bill can't do it either, though.
Bill's coding.
Bill's coding right
Well,
now.
that's the thing. Bill can work 18 different screens at once. So
Yeah.
if he's bang,
I don't
bang,
know if
bang,
we can add the horn into that. I don't know, because he's got to listen to the 100 Thieves, folks.
True.
Got to see what they got going on.
Yeah.
Our show could potentially have something that could be good. He has to potentially know that that's happening.
NBA Top Shots
Oh
might
my
be
God!
dropping.
NFT
You know,
world
right,
is happening.
NFTs.
And by the way, people think like he's just buying this stuff.
No.
No. He's actually writing this stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
He's putting them out on his own.
You ever Google something on YouTube? You can go ahead and thank Billy Tubes for that.
Yep.
He's the one writing the code to have that thing pop up there. We appreciate Billy. He cannot be answering the phone, so he's got too many jobs. I assume Mitt's doing it now because we're not really there. But 1-888-MAD-DOG-6, and I'll wait to hear from you. I got a computer that is mirroring the computer in the studio. Technology's fucking crazy. Like
Awesome.
it actually asked me to update.
Update. Yeah.
Very cool.
On this computer, it asked me to update that computer.
You don't got to update that one. That one's up to date.
This one seems to be very up to date.
Yeah.
It's to be able to do this. But I love that this sumbitch knows that I'm all the way up here. And it was like, hey, now's the time.
Just to remind
You're
you.
out of town. What do you think? Maybe we update? It's like, no, I got to use you. I want to while we're trying to figure out all this shit, and I'm not saying everybody doesn't have to go through shit, but while we're trying to figure out road studios and other live shows and tech and everything like that, and that's just, hey, by the way, standard business.
That's right.
Yeah.
Standard business. We are very lucky to do this, but there's a lot of bullshit that comes on the back end of this thing whenever you're dealing with tech that we got a chance to learn about while we're doing shows in the back of a box truck around the country or whatever. So while trying to figure out all this, because this is potentially happening, and also trying to maintain a show that is worthy of people spending their fucking time with us, because we're getting stats and people are spending a long time with us on a daily basis. So the show cannot halter at all. We're also living right now in a time with social media and insiders and league sources and all this, where the thing that we talk about every day is legitimately at all times potential 100% bullshit.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
All horseshit.
Every single day it feels like this, right? And now, whenever we were beginning this off season, we were coming gung-ho.
Oh, yeah. Had to.
Might have been a little bit naive of us. Okay, we're a young show. A little bit naive. There's an insider that said something, bang, we're talking about it. Oh my God, what's this going to do? Then obviously 2 days later, something very different would come out. Then we would get, people that would quote tweet our tweets from 2 days ago. This aged poorly. It's like, well, fuck you. We're not in the same.
No.
We're nowhere near in the same world that we are in right now. As I think we've gone through this offseason, which seems to be more bullshittier than ever.
Yeah.
I feel like we're getting a little bit more hardened, getting a little bit more skeptical. I think we're starting to be like, oh, really? But whenever something grabs our eyes, it's hard not to get excited about it. Like, oh, this is big news.
Yeah.
For instance, let's lay out that entire thing we just said in a 2-tweet operation from this morning. Okay? This is the NFL. I love that the NFL has so much interest and is the biggest league in the world that there is every little thing that could potentially be news becomes big news. And I love being a part of, I feel like we're pretty much a part of NFL media. I love covering the league. But, there's a lot of shit that gets thrown out that is potentially all. This morning, a guy I'd never heard of breaks a tweet, okay? And we're about to showcase. I mean, are you kidding me?
Look at that thing.
You're going to have to take the date off. Oh, no, he's moving that thing. Good work here. So this LED board, if you're listening on Sirius, you have no idea. The tweet just popped up behind me. The whole tweet, it's on a wall that seems to be about 8.5 feet high and probably 8 by 8 if I had to guess. Maybe 8 by 10. It's big and it is 4K. I don't know. This seems to be very clear and the tweet is just all the way behind me. It's fucking absurd. We're living in 2035.
Yes.
Anyway, Cecil Lammy, man, we've never heard of.
Cecil.
I believe he's in Denver, by
Yeah.
the way. Works for the Denver Post. He tweets, well, it might have been. Okay, little clever start. I like Cecil. I think I'd enjoy probably Cecil. The fact that he chose to lead off a tweet with a little bit of, a little flavor.
Right.
He did do a little something.
Yeah, a little
He did
Cecil
it-
style.
He did a little. He said, "Excuse me, let me go ahead and drop that." You know what I mean? Let me get a little bit of flavor. Oh, it might have been. This is him setting the tone for the rest of the information. Much like the don't overreact to this from David Lombardi at Lombardi himself the other day. Setting the tone for what it might have been. League sources tell me, says Cecil, that the Jets turned down 49ers first-round pick for Sam Darnold earlier this offseason.
Whoa!
Joe Douglas and company had concerns about Zach Wilson's shoulder and wanted to see his pro day, now super confident, and will likely be number 2 pick. Hashtag NFL draft. That thing garnered 128 retweets, 425 quote tweets. Those quote tweets probably garnered over 100 retweets. A lot of people saw this very quickly because it involves the New York Jets, the San Francisco 49ers, Sam Darnold, Kyle Shanahan, John Lynch, Jimmy Garoppolo. So this is a massive piece of information, and Zach Wilson. This is a massive piece of information here to just drop into the Twitter world from Cecil Lammey, who, by the way, we have said after the first 5 words of this tweet, probably good dude.
Yeah.
Oh, it might have been.
Great style.
Turns out, we find out just, I don't know, maybe 30 minutes later or whatever, a tweet comes out from another NFL insider that says, no, actually, complete bullshit, what just was said right here.
What?
Quote tweet, complete bullshit. You got to go back. Oh, it's frozen. LED.
Oh, man.
He did say it could be finicky.
At least we get the Cecil style on here for the rest of the show. You know?
Anyways, Dove Kleiman
Yeah.
says he speaks to insiders that would know and tweets out, this is false, this is not true. So now this is every single day this is happening. At what point do you think it stops, or do you think this only grows out here?
Oh, it'll never stop. I mean, this will always happen. It has to.
Because Cecil will come out and say, well, that's what I was told.
Exactly. And also, what are the insiders going to do? You know, they have nothing else to talk about either. They might as well go with the, you know what, maybe Sam Darnold is going to be a 49er. Who says no?
You know what we actually have, though? We have an actual insider joining us here.
Are you serious?
Yeah, a man who is from the NFL, actually.
Wow.
And one of the voices of the NFL, to be honest with you. I feel like when he speaks, it's like, okay, he's been told this by somebody at the NFL.
The Shield.
It is something that I enjoy learning about from this guy, and there's a lot of shit we can cover with him, including this Darnold thing. We'll also talk about the NFL and the NFLPA situation with these OTAs, which, by the way, OTAs, I understand it's big for development, blah, 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 blah. This means nothing, okay? OTAs, it's great if your players are there, but nothing matters except for the fall football season.
Right.
What happens in OTAs, there's a large majority of people that won't even be there, and this is going to become a thing that's going to become a problem because it's the NFL and the NFLPA battling.
Yeah.
Yep.
Joining us right now, ladies and gentlemen, from the NFL and the NFL Network, Tom Pelissero.
Yeah, Tommy!
Tom, what's going on? I'm up to something, dude. You got any inside sources on what it is?
I wish that I had the level of information flow directly from Roger Goodell that you seem to think I do.
Oh,
I think this is a misconception of people at the NFL Network that think that like we just get every memo. We're on some internal email chain. No,
Not
like,
everybody.
We
Not everybody at NFL
report
Network.
on stuff like everybody else.
Tom,
I get put it this way. Look through my Twitter feed over the past several days. I have as much NFLPA stuff as NFL stuff. I try to be fair and balanced.
Well, okay. Well, it does. I appreciate that. I appreciate what you just said. Everybody tries to be fair and balanced. I mean, I thought the Colts were going to win the fucking Super Bowl last year. I was trying to be fair and balanced as well. You know what I mean? And I think whenever we talk to you, though, and not everybody at NFL Network, by the way. We talk to a lot of people at NFL Network. We love NFL Network, by the way. We are big. We have NFL Network on at our home, not here, Road Studio, because we don't have TV.
Don't have TV.
We don't have TV here at the Road Studio. We can't actually watch any television. But at Office Studio back in Indy, you know, I'm not even going to say the mileage from there, but back in it, we have NFL Network on all day. You know, total access. We love everything about it. We absolutely love everything about it. But when you come on, it genuinely makes us feel like, okay, Tom seems like is having the entire, maybe you comprehend it more or easier, or it's your style, but it feels like you understand why the NFL is choosing to do exactly what the NFL is choosing to do at that exact time where we may have some questions. That's no offense to that, I don't think.
I think everybody has certain areas that they try to have expertise in. I would certainly say procedural stuff, the memos, the way that things internally function, those are things that I just have kind of made a point, especially over the past 14 months here amidst all the chaos, just to understand it. It's not, I'm not giving you the pitch from either side. It's important. It is important to the people inside the league. I mean, you would be surprised every time one of these memos comes out, how many coaches and front office people a lot of times haven't seen the memo. They see my tweet and then they're asking, like, so what does this mean? What are they doing here? Because they got 10 other things going on. I'm actually going through these 17-page memos and trying to, pull stuff out. And then, I mean,
we appreciate, by the way, hey, the coaches aren't the only people that appreciate that, because there's no way, zero chance anybody in this particular studio or in our building in Indy would ever read a 17-page memo. So the fact that you do it, I assume there's coaches and players and myself, there's a lot of people that appreciate it, but you do have a more in-depth look at the things. So let's talk about a couple of these things here. The NFLPA and the NFL, Tom, are starting to beef about these OTAs, okay? As soon as the virtual offseason happened last year, and as soon as the training camp was rescheduled and how it all worked, you heard the veterans talking while it was happening. They were like, hey, this feels good. Okay, this is exactly what I need. In the ramp up period of the training camp, where it was almost like OTAs and training camp were combined, it made our body feel good. The OTAs where you go and then you down and then you're up again, kind of hurts the body, not great for us. As it was happening, I saw and immediately understood that the players were going to try to let's make sure we oversell how good this thing is. So now here we are 1 year later, and you have the NFLPA and the NFL disputing about protocols being safe for players to go into the building. They shouldn't be doing OTAs. Last year we had a lot of success in football, which is true. The game was great. A lot of young guys played well, even though a lot of people thought the young guys could suffer from this. The special teamers, the second stringers kind of got fucked in the whole thing, but the stars seem to do good. The NFL now says we'll do 4 more weeks virtual and we'll kind of reassess it. Is that what they're saying? And do you see this really becoming a situation? And do you see the OTAs changing? And do you see the NFL, since they've already given in the 4 weeks virtual here, which they didn't have to do you see them potentially extending that or trying to figure this out, because all parties know that this is not as big of a deal as it's going to be made out to be?
Well, there's a lot of layers to this. And let's start with the fact that this is not true bargaining between the NFL and the NFLPA, in the sense that for any changes to happen, the union would have to sign off. The union did not sign off on what the NFL sent to clubs yesterday, which was an extension of phase 1 of the off-season program, no on-field work for those first 4 weeks. Starting May 17th, there's only a 1-week phase 2 where you can kind of do like a walkthrough type of pace, do some things on the field. And then the normal 4 weeks, 10 days over 4 weeks of OTAs, which are voluntary except for the 3-day mandatory minicamp. The NFLPA all along has pushed for this entire thing to be all virtual, including the mandatory minicamp. So they're not even close to that. The J.C. Treader and DeMaurice Smith sent a note to all the players last night, which I tweeted, saying this did not address our concerns. There's just a minor tweak to phase 1. We still recommend, based on the data and based on our medical experts, that you do not attend any in-person workouts this spring. But if you do, make sure that you're following all the protocols in terms of PPE and social distancing, etc. So to go back to last offseason, you're absolutely right. What the NFLPA saw was that, yes, there was absolutely an impact on certain teams, especially those, some of those with new coaches. I mean, off the top of my head, you can think about what happened with the Cowboys defense, not having time to, learn a new scheme. The Vikings with their young secondary, just those guys weren't ready to play in the early going. Those are the guys who lost in terms of OTAs. But if you look at the bigger picture, you look at January and February in the playoffs, nobody was sitting back going, boy, this is just not the same. No, if you watch the whole entire course of the season, you didn't notice some kind of noticeable drop. What's kind of funny here and somewhat ironic is the NFL put together all this data showing that injury rates did not have any significant spike. They were actually down in the early portion of the season. Major injuries were down. Penalties were down. Quality of play was no different. You still had competitive games. The NFLPA went, yeah, that's right. Look at all that data. Yeah. We didn't lose anything with the offseason. So what you really have here, and I know that they're making it about COVID, and there's some valid data on that in terms of you have 3 times the new positive cases per day right now that you did 1 year ago when they went all virtual. This is an issue of power and control. This is the union, which has, over the past decade or so, had like a 99% attendance rate at voluntary OTAs, saying we negotiated for all this stuff to be voluntary, yet we're all showing up. The data last year suggests maybe that extra wear and tear, whatever it might be, and you're talking 4 hours a day, 2 hours on the field, maybe that's not the best thing for us. They see the opportunity here to try to take a stand. And so J.C. Treader, on a call last Friday, was open to all players, said that. He said that basically the dynamic in these, again, not bargaining, but these talks with the NFL have been, hey, we want it to be all virtual. And the owners go, well, we're not going to do that, but it's voluntary. We know you're going to show up, but it's voluntary. And Treader told the players, I think it's time to make them eat their words. So you've had 4 teams come out and say, we're not going to show up for the in-person voluntary stuff. The Patriots said, some of us will, many of us won't. That's still 5 out of 32 teams, to say nothing of the close to 300 players who either have workout bonuses or de-escalators in their contracts, which absolutely, if their teams start workouts on Monday, is going to incentivize them to show up. And then you've got the trickle down for all these other younger players in particular, and the 1,000+ guys whose jobs are not secure. They've got to weigh out some things. I can tell you, I have talked to a number of agents who have told me, regardless what the union says, I'm telling all my guys to go. Everybody's got different interests in this entire thing, which is part of the reason that from a labor perspective, it's really tough always for the NFLPA to get 2,500 guys on the same page because they just don't all have the same things at stake, particularly at this time of year.
Yeah, I 100% agree. It's not the young stars, like Justin Jefferson was unbelievable. The rookie wide receivers were unbelievable. There were some rookie defensive players. There was rookie players that made plays quicker than we could have ever expected, especially with the Zoom stuff. But it's the backup players, the special teams players, that they have to understand the defense to really make the active roster instead of the practice squad. And they maybe potentially don't, and the defensive coordinator doesn't believe in them. So that means the special teams coordinator is not allowed to use. It's just, there's a lot of that type of stuff that goes on as Tom Pelissero gets a call from Roger Goodell to tell him to keep it going. He's doing a great job. Couple quick little things here, Tom. Obviously that's not true. Maybe though. We don't know. But a couple quick things. Whenever you said it's only 4 hours, 2 hours on the field, the wear and tear, I think the reason why a lot of vets don't like it is because they have to travel back to the city. They can't work out with their own people. Their guru, if they do have a body guru, has got to travel with them to the city. It's away from potential family. That's the biggest thing, I think, for a lot of guys. And also,
sorry to cut you off, but
the ramp up,
I've heard from,
and also the ramp up, the OTAs, even though it's 2 hours on the field or whatever, they're doing, like by the end of OTAs, they're doing full practices basically, but with no pads. So it's like a mid-season almost type of reps for quarterbacks, wide receivers, corners, like it's happening like that. And then all of a sudden you go into a dead period for 3.5, 4 weeks, depending upon when your first game is. And then all of a sudden it's like training camp. It's like, here we go. We're going right back into it. So a lot of the older guys, I think they enjoyed the ramp up. So the 2 hours, 4 hours in total thing, I think that is, I agree that is potentially what they're talking about, but I think it's more so a high level, you know what I mean, zoomed out view is what they're mostly talking about. I think if you could relay that to Raj and the boys.
Yeah, I've heard from agents in particular that there's a lot of players who don't feel like they get as good a work in the facility than they do 2 hours with their guy doing stuff versus 2 hours as part of a group of 10, which is what the weight room limit is right now, that's not going to be as good. You also have, if you look at that memo yesterday, one of the things in there says, so you get 4 hours a day in phase one, of which 2 hours can be directed activity, but also your testing, the daily testing that you still have to undergo. And it appears as of now, even if you're vaccinated, you still have to get the daily Mesa test.
Whoa.
That doesn't count toward the 4 hours. So that's been one thing.
So it's in the morning. I thought the Faciaci was the green, the green light.
Yeah. Get out of jail free card.
That's what I thought.
There's still. It will eventually, but the NFL and the NFLPA haven't come up with any of these protocols. At some point, they're going to set a threshold, at which point you can scale it back on a team-wide basis in terms of PPE and social distancing and all that type of stuff. And then also on an individual basis, if certain people are vaccinated, they would not have to follow certain protocols. The NFL and NFLPA not mandating it for players. Certainly, they are encouraging it. You saw the Broncos yesterday.
Tier 1, Tier 2.
They're having a right. The Broncos are putting on a vaccination event. All teams are being encouraged to make the vaccine available during phase 1. And then the real thing, the Tier 1, Tier 2, which is a big deal. And I've heard from people within the league, front office people in particular, who are not happy about this. There's people who, for certain reasons, do not want to take a vaccine that is, of course, approved for emergency use, but is not yet FDA approved. And they're, in essence, being told, again, it's not a mandate, but effectively it's a mandate.
Yeah, it's becoming everywhere, by the way, not just in the NFL. That's college football. Mac Brown said, if everybody gets what I've been told is that if every player gets the vaccine, we can operate as if this was pre-COVID time. Every coach does the same thing. If not, we got to move on. So it effectively is a mandate, and that's becoming the Buffalo Bills stadium. If you want to come to a game, you got to have a vaccine. Now, I guess there's a potential state, federal.
There's legal questions about that, and there's also logistical questions that have been going on for months with Ticketmaster and the places that are going to be obviously facilitating some of that. Like, how do you prove you've been vaccinated? Like, those are all kind of macro questions that they're going to be sorting out in the coming months. But
you got to get that card. You get that card. You get that card. You just walk up and you go like, look, it's been triple stamped with double stamped.
Are you scanning that card and it's inserted in your Ticketmaster account?
No, it's a Neuralink.
It's real. These are all things that they've got to be able to figure out. But the more immediate thing is this Tier 1, Tier 2 ban. You are banned from being Tier 1, Tier 2 as a staff member if you're not vaccinated. So that means for coaches, again, technically they're not mandating it, but they're saying, so if you don't get the vaccine, you can't be on the field. You can't be in meeting rooms. You can't be anywhere on the football side of the building. It's like Milton from Office Space. We'll move you down to storage room B and you can coach from there for the season. There's not a lot of guys who are going to be on board with that. The vaccination issue is going to be a huge thing. I think we talked about this before, too. If you go back to last year when the NFL recommended the flu vaccine for players, and that was in part because even though not many people were getting sick last year, it was because if you might get the flu, you might have symptoms that look like COVID. Now you're taken out of practice. You're taken out of a game. You don't have it. But the percentage of players that actually did that was extremely low. There were some teams that had less than a handful of players that actually got the flu vaccine because there are founded reasons that people are skeptical of vaccines in general.
Tom, so from the team perspective, not only with the COVID thing, like you don't want to get the symptoms that potentially lead people to think that because at one point people are just getting their temperatures taken. If you had the temperature, it's like, you got to at least leave for a second and we got to get a double, triple test or whatever. But the flu vaccine, that was always something that teams, I from my understanding, have made available. Like, hey, because if the flu gets in your building, that thing's going to, potentially take you out. So from the team standpoint, it's like, well, if we can at least try to limit that. And then, as we all got smarter with the whole thing, it's like, well, there's actually like 15 different strains of the flu, the vaccine. It's just like all of this shit has so many different views on it from people, and everybody is kind of locked in on it. It's going to be coming out of this whole COVID thing is going to be almost just as insane as going into, not as, I guess, the world shut down. Please don't panic. But I'm just saying, coming out of this thing, Utah Jazz game, coming out of this thing, there's going to be a lot of shit that's going to get figured out that's going to piss off a lot of people, by the way. It's going to be, we're in for it right now. I just hope that you and Raj get another season off because we're going to need it again. Ty, what do you have?
Tom, Pat briefly mentioned it there with the Neuralink. We've seen, and I know you kind of already answered this, but we've seen Elon Musk controlling that chimpanzee, playing ping pong, basically just doing it for him. Are you sure, and this maybe, it could have been against your actions, you might not even know about it. Are you sure that either Raj or someone at the league office isn't actually Neuralinked into your brain and just sending you all this information? Because it's true. You know everything, it seems like, before anyone else knows what's going on.
It's unbelievable, Tom.
Elon Musk controlled a chimp?
Dude. Playing Pong.
Am I behind on this? When did that happen?
Well, by the way, you don't have time to look at the Pong because the way your Neuralink is scheduled, you just got to read memos all day. You know what I mean?
I am locked in.
Yeah.
That's really where I'm hung up. No, as far as I'm aware, I have not had a chip implanted into my brain.
Okay.
Cannot Cannot confirm fully. Never want to say never on anything, but
okay,
I'm
so
unfamiliar with that.
Tom, can you tell that we're potentially very high earlier talking about you, and we start having a conversation about our conversations with Tom, and we're always like, it feels like that son of a bitch knows more from these memos. And by the way, you're never really, I don't think anybody's ever come out and been like, Tom's 100% wrong on it. It's like, you're like a robot with these things almost. It is very fascinating. I'm sure Dr. Goldman, a man who has 2 PhDs, would love to test your brain to see how that whole thing operates. Connor, what do you have?
Yeah, Arrow, the Falcons have been making moves this morning. They signed Deron Harmon. They signed Cordero Patterson. Are they gearing up to trade back and, let some other team pick at 4 or what?
The Falcons certainly would be open to opportunities to trade back. The real question is, with the 49ers already having moved up to number 3, who else is looking to go all the way up to number 4? Because if you're the Falcons, you don't want to trade out of what you would regard, and every board's going to be different, but you don't want to trade out of those premium type of picks. I mean, if there's one team that we're looking at this point that potentially would come up for a quarterback, it's probably the Patriots. But they're sitting there at 15. That's a long way to go up to number 4. You're talking about, first round pick and a lot more than that to be able to make that type of a leap. Now we've seen teams like the Dolphins execute kind of almost a 3-way trade, which those aren't allowed in the NFL, but 2 separate trades that works that way, going down and then coming back up. There's a lot of different opportunities. And the fact that some trades have gotten done early in the process here provides some clarity where the Falcons have the opportunity to, take those calls and potentially work out deals far sooner than you normally would have in a year where a lot of those big deals would be happening as you get into draft week. Really the mystery within the league for teams at this point is what the 49ers do at number 3 and which quarterback it's going to be. We've certainly heard a lot about Mac Jones from Alabama. That would be, if you were talking to people across the league, the consensus would be that is probably the pick. But they're going through, the Justin Fields workout. They're going through the Trey Lance workout. They worked with John Beck, who's training both those quarterbacks.
I heard he's good.
Kyle Shanahan to implement things from Kyle Shanahan's practices, drills and throws, footwork, all things that Kyle does into those second workouts to give them the best view possible. So at minimum, the 49ers are doing their homework here on all those quarterbacks. And so, to a degree also, if you're looking to move up, you're wondering which quarterbacks are going to be available. And one thing that probably hasn't gotten enough attention when you're talking about how clouded it potentially could be there at 2, 3, 4, all 3 of those teams, the Jets, 49ers, and Falcons, run essentially the same offense because the Jets have Mike LaFleur as their offensive coordinator. He's taken the Kyle Shanahan scheme with Robert Saleh to New York. You, of course, have the 49ers who run Kyle Shanahan's scheme. And then you have the Falcons who just hired a coach in Arthur Smith who learned the scheme from Matt LaFleur when he was the Titans offensive coordinator and had previously worked for Kyle Shanahan. So when you're talking about evaluating the traits, very similar.
So there's a chance Darnold was going to be a Niner this offseason, or is that bullshit you think? This morning there was conflicting reports.
I'm not in the business of shooting down anybody else's reporting. Certainly, there was a thought that Darnold could be a fit for that offense, but Joe Douglas talked about it publicly. They had the opportunity to financially reset through the course of this offseason, and obviously they feel very confident about the type of quarterback they're going to be able to get at number 2.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much, Tom. You're the absolute best. We got to get to a break. This is the Pat McAfee Show, Thursday, April 15th. We're up to something. Why is football the greatest sport on earth? And do you think football is the greatest sport on earth? And why do you like football?
That's a really deep question there, Pat.
I know. I think I'd get a good answer out of you, though. I think you'd be able to talk about it in a way that I think a lot of people haven't, because you've been at the pinnacle of it for so damn long and inside of it, and your brain is a pretty fantastic one. We've learned here over the last few weeks, obviously. Last few weeks, that's it. That's all the time we've learned that.
I think it's the greatest sport in the world for one main reason. It is a true team sport where it is damn near impossible for one person to dominate an entire game. And if you look at other team sports, basketball with 5 guys on the court, I think you've seen multiple players over the years. Maybe one player, or maybe 1 or 2 players on a squad be able to dominate and win championships. Baseball, you can have a dominant pitcher and win championships. Soccer, you can have a dominant forward and or goalie that seems to be a little more of a team sport, but you don't have 11 players engaged at the same time on every play. It is truly a sport reliant on every player on the field to do their job in order to be successful. And I think that's why at times, certain star players can get maybe too much credit and maybe too much blame on the flip side, because it does take so many players at the same time in 3 phases to win football games. And I think that's the beauty and the draw of our sport, is that something new happens all the time, because you are literally dealing with 11 humans on the field at one time who all have lives outside of football, and there's distractions, there's a reliance on coaching, there's a reliance on preparation, there's a reliance on diet and performance. I just think there's so many facets to it that you see something new every single week, and I think that's the beauty in our game. When it comes to the love that I have for it, it's rooted, and I think like any player who's played for a long time, the love is not just about our sport, it's about competition. And I think there's nothing in the world for me that fills that need and that hole I have like competition. I think players who play for a long time at a high level, you have that need to be satiated competitively, and it's a love of going out there and going against guys and being in an environment where you know that nothing is guaranteed. And that's why I, at times, I've taken umbrage to people saying that it's easy, because it's not easy. It's never easy. And I think that's the beauty in our game, is that you see things new every single week. It's never easy. And your only thing you're guaranteed is the ability to compete. I love that aspect of it. I love competing. I love going out there and harnessing the fear of failure, where I think so many people who maybe don't love football as much, the root of that is a deep fear of failure, that you might go out there and your best might not be good enough, and that's not okay with you.
This is the Pat McAfee Show on Sirius XM Mad Dog Sports Radio. We thank you for taking the time to seek out this small regional show that streams internationally. Here's Pat and the boys.
Welcome back to that show here, Thursday, April 15th, on our debut of our road studio voyage. A Zito production was put together in a beautiful fashion. We cannot thank you enough for listening and watching wherever the hell you may be. Hour 1 is wrapping up here. Tom Pelissero conversation ran long, and that's because Tom Pelissero has a never-ending supply of information about everything you want to know about. Yep. I don't know how he does it. He might read every memo that's ever been released. Was he a lawyer? That's like a lawyer thing, isn't it?
Oh, yeah, for sure.
That's a big lawyer thing, right?
Yeah.
Maybe a librarian.
How do you recall all of it?
I have no idea. Well, I mean, that's kind of like that's why he can't stop talking midway through, you know? Because he just has to get to the end of whatever's being...
Because he does have...
He has the Neuralink.
It is a never-ending... Yeah. It is coming, just bang, bang, bang. And everything he says, I've yet to have somebody like tweet us or tell us like, yeah, what Tom said was wrong there. It's like, no, he literally just recited a fucking 17-page memo.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable what he does.
While you were saying something, he tried to jump in and, you had to finish your point. I thought he short-circuited for a second because he had to stop mid, first sentence.
Welcome back to the dumbest show on earth. Friend of this show.
Yeah.
Newly friend of this show. I guess he is a fan of the show, though, has been for some time. We're very thankful for that. Corn Ferry Tour alum, a man who made his debut to the world this past weekend at the Masters, coming in second place, losing by just one stroke to Hideki Matsuyama. Will Zalatoris is currently kicking the shit out of a golf course right now.
Hell yeah.
He told us just the other day that if he comes in second place or comes in last place, it's the same damn thing because he doesn't get his PGA card. He's going to have to win a tournament to get into the playoffs to become an actual PGA player. You come in second in the Masters, you think that would be enough? No. You come top 20, top 10 in like a bunch of tournaments, you think that would be enough? No. You got to win one to become a member of the PGA. They say these are high standards around here, Will. You're 24-year-old ass who looks potentially like the caddy from Happy Gilmore and hits the shit out of a golf ball. You're going to have to win if you want to be one of us. He's going to go do that this weekend, I think.
Come on.
Let's go, Will.
He said, I'm not motivated by money either. And obviously he's not. All these guys want to go out there and win. But
everybody has a little motivation by money.
Boom. And if you make that FedEx Cup playoff, that's where the big money is.
Oh, there's cash coming.
Oh, yeah. If you get into that, that's where the real purse is.
$30 million, I think, right? That's the purse for all the
it might be something like that. It's very...
Is it the FedEx?
The FedEx Cup Championship.
The issue is because they also, NASCAR's got one of those too.
Oh yeah.
So I think it's FedEx.
FedEx
as well.
Point standards.
Yeah, I think
right.
so. I always kind of, I kind of, with those sports that I do enjoy. You know what I mean? And NASCAR is a sport. Please,
of course,
have a little respect for the athletes.
difficult.
I think it's a challenge. Sport. It's a sport. Yeah. Because it's not just the driver, it's the entire team taking on every other team. I think it is a sport. A lot of people would say it is not. I think it's not an easy thing to do at all.
You talk about the between the ears stuff too. Like you have to be locked in and you have to be very in the zone to do that type of shit.
You got to have a steel trap up there, pal.
Oh yeah.
Hot in those cars.
Death is potentially around the corner all
Imminent.
times. But FedEx loves that shit though. They're like, give us the mental jousting. Give us golf and give us NASCAR, and we'll have the playoff series sponsored by us, and we'll just pay $1 bazillion to everybody.
Pretty good plan.
Genius.
Need Zalatoris in there.
Need him.
That's our guy. All right, hour one's wrapping up here. Feels like technology-wise, we figured it out and made it happen. So big congrats to the Zito production here. We had one slight flaw with the LED board, but it is fickle. It's day one. Got an LED board specialist here to try to help us out. Hour two's on the other side with AJ Hawk. We can't wait to, talk some more bullshit. Let's talk about what happened directly outside of WrestleMania in the MetLife parking lot.
And this guy tells Zeke, hey, just follow that car right down that way.
If that awning was literally 6 inches lower, I'm dead.
Hey, who the fuck told you guys to drive down there?
So I get a text from Nick that says, call me when you can. And I never get that type of text from Nick, right?
Granted, it's unfortunate that, the boys, the Roadhawks, didn't have their WrestleMania moment. We talked about it earlier. All of us felt like we were in like a trench in World War II. Tell you what, the WWF will be proud. That's a lot of fucking destruction. I thought the entire building was coming down.
The best looking uprights I've ever seen in my life.
Hey, who the fuck told you guys to drive underneath there? I will never forget April 7th.
Ain't nothing Lady Grey can't handle.
Turn left onto 33rd Street.
They said to come to the loading dock. Yeah, they want to set up a shot, so they're going to come out with cameras and, show that we're tailgating. Tailgate spot. U-turn? Is that what you're saying? We're just doing a U-turn. Want to move up?
And this guy tells Zeke, hey, just follow that car right down that way. And so we're thinking, okay, no problem. Backing up. So Zeke moseys on down this way and just fucking...
Jesus Christ. Oh. think it's stuck. I fucking told you guys. Like, come on, dude.
Who told you to go through here?
These guys did.
Nah, you supposed to come through this shot, like right here. I didn't tell you to go through there.
You told me
Yeah, right down this lane here.
Fuck.
Left side.
Come on, guys. Fucking A. I'll be looking out there. Oh, fuck.
So what you just heard was a RV that was clearly too tall for an awning that was hanging over. And Zito was going so fast in that the entire RV ended up under the awning.
Yep.
And it wasn't until they were all the way under that Zito said, "Oh, I think we're stuck." And at that moment, he puts it in reverse and rides back through all of it. And that's what the piercing sound of metal that you heard ripping through.
Fucking Did it fucking everything up there? The backside fucked too? How's it going, sir? Yeah. Yeah, they just keep fucking sending us through here.
Alright, they're sending somebody out. Just hang tight, alright? Did you check the top? I mean,
It's destroyed.
scratch it up.
No, like the whole thing is. Oh, fuck.
Yeah?
Like, they're gonna fucking send me fucking through somewhere.
I know. There's nothing you can do. Everybody alright in there?
Yeah.
Stay calm.
Yeah, you're right. Stay calm, too.
They told you to go through. Suck it, clearance.
I am on the bus with the rest of the WWE roster driving by. There's 2 fire trucks, there's a cop, there's paramedics, there's quite a scene.
Fucking A. How's it going, sir? No, yeah, they sent me through, and I was just like, all right. Yeah.
And we're just rolling by going into the fucking MetLife Stadium, and I get a Corey Graves. Is that your RV?
Yeah, you guys hear about McAfee's guys? Drove a fucking RV into the arena? Into the arena.
That road to WrestleMania, man.
Hey, I'll tell you what, that's the furthest I've ever seen any vehicle get underneath that fucking awning. Look at the ladder on the back.
The Pat McAfee Show.
There'll be no rules for our guests, for us, for the things we can talk about.
Speaking his mind
I've never had a problem expressing my opinions or my thoughts or anything like that.
while being relatable.
I haven't had that manufactured fake-ass celebrity that a lot of people have whenever they go on those big networks. I've had a chance to really build my crew, build my following, build my audience.
And ridiculous.
What am I supposed to do? So I'm supposed to look at something that I can definitely afford and say, nah. Is that what I'm supposed to do?
The Pat McAfee Show starts in 3, 2, 1.
Welcome back to that show, hour 2 here on this beautiful Thursday, April 15th, 2021. We'll begin immediately following this beat drop from 20. There it was. Here we go. If you're just joining us on Sirius XM, we can't thank you enough for deciding to either turn it's not a dial, so you just push the shit.
Sound?
We had it in the car.
We did. It was nice.
Oh.
That was my first time really ever experiencing it.
They had an iPad in there.
Yeah, it was very nice.
Yeah.
It was a very nice car.
Yeah. No big deal.
It was a nice car.
It was a very nice car.
It was a very nice car. Unbelievable. Not used to it, by the way.
No.
Normally you get minivans around town. Not this time. So we actually had Sirius on there. We appreciate you potentially landing over here on Mad Dog Sports Radio. I don't know what you were listening to for the last hour. It was certainly better than what you're about to listen to for at least the next 2 hours here before Chris Mad Dog Russo joins us. But if you're watching on YouTube and you just popped in for whatever reason, we can't thank you enough for joining us as well. We are in a road Mode studio right now. And in about a couple moments, we will be announcing a $7,500 giveaway via Twitter. And a man that will be participating in that giveaway joins us right now, a college football national champion, a Super Bowl champion, ladies and gentlemen, AJ Hawk. You look terrible.
Oh, my God.
You look so bad.
You guys look terrible. I was going to say, you look terrible in whatever this setup is you have right
now. Listen. Everybody has said how good we have looked for the last hour, actually. We've been standing ovation giving to Zito at every single break, AJ. We've been clapping. Like, Zito, no idea how you did this. No clue. No idea how Zito, Tim, and CFO Phil were able to put this thing together. The fact that they did, we appreciate, obviously. But, AJ, I think now is the time for us to announce, a $7,500 contest, basically. Don't you think so?
Yeah, it sounds like a good idea. Let's do it. What made you wait until now?
Well,
why is this a good time?
Well, there was a meeting I had to attend to this morning, and we assumed that things were going positively. We thought it would be I thought this meeting was going to lead to another meeting. Zito thought he potentially had another week and a half, 2 weeks to do this. So I just want to let everybody know the fact that this has come together has been a blessing from whichever God you believe. I'm not getting into that conversation. But whichever God you believe in, this is an absolute blessing. But this morning, it was like it was a quick hey, how you doing? Let's go ahead and make this thing happen. So it's probably going to come out maybe in the next few days. So we got to give at least people that have been following along on the internet a chance to guess. And if you're going to guess and participate in something, especially with what just happened, have to give away money, $7,500. Use the hashtag Pats Up to Something. Okay, that's PATSUPTOSOMETHIN. That is it, no G. Okay, Pats Up to Something. I'm up to something. Pat's up to something. Most accurate. Now, be descriptive here, okay? Because I have seen people kind of, Ty just told Connor to get the hell out of the way there, and we don't have it properly, completely sized on the other side there.
Okay. Got to do it a favor, actually.
There we go, and we got it. Our new LED board is a hysterical thing here. But most accurate, be descriptive now, okay? Be descriptive. The most accurate, descriptive guess will win $7,500 when you tweet with the hashtag Pat's Up to Something with your guess. If there are numerous correct responses, okay, numerous accurate guesses in our eyes, in the panel's eyes, the money will go to the person who had the tweet first, which we will search and then go all the way down to the bottom. $7,500. Go ahead and let them fly. I've seen the speculation from everybody. I appreciate everybody's investment into this. It feels as if people are excited and feel like people know what's going to happen. Let's go ahead and give you $7,500. Tweet hashtag Pat's Up to Something. AJ, will you be participating in this? Because I've gotten numerous text messages from you over the last couple of days kind of giving your guesses and such.
Well, you got my guesses after you texted me and asked me, hey, what do you think I'm up to? So I had to come up with some stuff.
You have guessed, though. You have guessed.
I have.
At this point, you are a observant human, don't you think?
Oh, yeah.
AJ's very observant.
He's a hawk.
AJ knows how we operate, and this was an actual thing to not let AJ know. Like, it was not even, because AJ doesn't even know the conversations were happening with whoever was happening. He actually, whenever I said, hey, I'm up to something and started doing it on the show, there was an actual, like, is this, what are you?
What are you up to?
And I was like, well, not telling you. Not telling you. But now at this point, you've been through a couple guesses. Will you be participating in trying to get a $7,500 bonus because you've been left in the dark over there in stupid Ohio?
Well, I haven't exactly been badgering, asking you guys, like, what are you guys up to?
Yeah, by the way, you have not. You have not. You've played into the game. You've given a couple guesses.
I kind of like it.
Yeah.
I kind of like I kind of like trying to figure out, trying to guess. And all I've come up with is, if this thing, like, whatever you are going to do, it better absolutely, like, blow my socks off, as they say, with all the hype that's going into it.
Now, we have potentially worried that there's a chance, you know.
Like, if you're not announcing that you are gonna be The Rock's vice president when he runs for president, then, like, I don't know. Like,
he already has a vice president. Watch Young Rock, dude. He already has a vice president. Okay, 2032. We're coming. I'm coming. Who's coming?
The homeless guy came back?
No, it wasn't.
He OD'd.
It wasn't Ched. Waffles. It wasn't French pancakes. It wasn't. It wasn't Ched.
Memorable character.
Chet Hanks?
Oh,
It was not Chet Hanks either. Dubai. What do you think it's going to be, though? Will you give a guess?
Well, the fact that you like that studio you're in, are you going to be traveling home in the next few days?
What's that, bub?
Will you be traveling home for like anytime soon, or are you down there wherever you are? Are you down there right now for good?
I plead the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5th on that particular one. I don't think that is a piece of information that needs to be known. I will let you know, though, this is a nice house.
Very nice house.
This is
Gorgeous.
a nice house.
So yeah, if you set up a studio inside a house with that giant screen, then you're going to be there for a while.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe not. What's your guess?
I mean, I don't have the fact that you're actually going and staying somewhere, that's what's weird. Like, whatever it could be, Monday Night Football, like, you don't need to move for that. Daily show, it's got to be some kind of daily show. Why would you? Why would you need to move? Everyone that does Monday Night Football lives all over. Because it'll only be because that would be in partner with you joining Greeny or something daily on that show.
Okay, I'm not doing Monday Night Football. We'll rule that out.
What about Thursday Night Football?
Okay, so I'm not going to do this game with you.
Yeah.
Okay, there it is.
There's $7,500.
Yeah, we're good. I got it. Don't worry. Yeah, we're good.
Okay,
you don't need to move, though. I'm going to let you know you don't need to move just to go do Bezos Thursday night.
Okay, congratulations, AJ.
Yeah.
Congratulations,
Congrats.
AJ.
Where you're playing? Where are you going to play?
What's that?
Where are you going to play football somewhere?
Oh. Is that what you're thinking now? What's that all about? I thought
You
you
never
were
know with you. I mean, with you, you never know. You like to always pop up a little picture of you kicking some balls in some random park every once in a while.
Hey, AJ, that's because hey, AJ.
So those are a hint. That's a hint, right there. That's a clue.
It is not. I forgot my glasses. I don't know. I don't know how I did it. I was so bummed. I got down here. I forgot my CBD PM. I forgot my glasses. I forgot a lot of things down over here. Oh, am I down? Am I down? Oh, crazy. Anyways, let's move along. You have to tweet with the hashtag Pat's up to something to enter officially. We will not count this thing that you just did. Both 5 guesses you just gave, basically. This will not count. You will have to tweet. By the way, you can enter as many times as you want.
Go ahead.
But be descriptive. Remember, there will be, be as descriptive as possible, because when we search for the winning, we're going to be very descriptive.
Yeah.
Then we'll dumb it down a little bit. There might be numerous people that do that. Then you have to go down the first one. So be as descriptive as possible. Limit to 10 guesses.
But if you want to do 100.
Yeah, we're not going to count. We're not going to count.
Hey, or Pat, it could be maybe you're down filming a movie and you're going to be there for like 3 months. Maybe Atlanta. I know they film a lot of movies there. Up north in Canada, they do right now with COVID. I'm sure that's not the case. So maybe you did. Maybe you grew from your first role when you were the doucher wearing tassel shoes and khaki pants that had nice pleats in them. Right. Maybe you jumped up to number 1 on the call sheet for that movie.
Well, listen, I will say, because we did give away what that show was.
Yeah.
It is definitely not involving that particular show, which I am excited to watch, by the way. But maybe you are onto something over there, AJ. You're going to have to tweet it out, though, because all these bullshit guesses you're giving won't count towards the 7,500, AJ, which could potentially buy you a new camera, because we're thousands and thousands. Potentially, probably not actually. We're not that far away from the studio. Maybe we are, but we're way away. And we're connected to the boys back in Indy. We're connected to Sirius YouTube right now. Perfect. We have an LED board behind us. And you look like somebody, like Bob Ross painted you onto the screen, basically.
That wasn't, believe me, that's not coming from my camera. That's however the connection to
No,
the
it's not.
The arrow was just
We
perfect,
just had the
dude.
arrow.
Oh, this is Tim Cook, huh?
What arrow? Oh, Pelissero, yeah.
Hey, did you hear what he said, by the way?
What?
He was talking about basically the OTA thing that you and I kind of have already talked about, how this is going to get made into a big deal because it's going to be players disagreeing with other players and teams doing things with other teams, and it's the NFL and the NFLPA. It's going to get blown out of. This is going to be something that's going to get talked. But OTAs, in the grand scheme of things, like, I understand development matters, and coaches love it because coaches love the coach. Like, that's what coaches love to do. In the grand scheme of things, these don't matter. Like, what happens in the OTAs, it definitely helps. Like, I'm not getting crazy, but nothing matters until fall. Like the OTAs, you could be a very different team in OTAs than you are in a team. This is going to become something, though, I think, because we're involving vaccines now. He's talking about how coaches have reached out to him about how they're not happy because although it's for emergency purpose, it's not NDA approved or something like that. And there's coaches that have reached out to him and they're like the tier 1, tier 2 mandate, basically. So now, not only do we have OTAs and an NFL and NFLPA potential beef, now you got the vaccination beef that is happening in our world very loudly. You got all this thing kind of coming into one for something in the grand scheme of things isn't that important, but man, it's going to become something. I think it already is.
Well, don't you think it could become much more important if there's, say, half the teams that are sitting out all off season and then some teams come back and they actually have full OTAs?
Well, that's the teams that are going to have full OTAs, we assume, are going to be
the good football
better teams, especially with younger coaches, right? Like the rookie head coaches last year, they just stunk, right?
No, they weren't great.
They just absolutely stunk. And was it because they stunk as head coaches, or is it because they didn't have a chance to do anything in OTAs? They're probably trying to learn how they're going to be a head coach during those OTAs, how to address the team, how to talk to the team, what to do during practices, how to set up the day, manage the day, the bullshit that could come. There's a lot of things that go into being a coach that if you don't have OTAs, if you're in a brand new position, you could potentially not know what the fuck you signed up for or whatever. So I think coaches definitely want this thing, but then the NFL is like, well, there's a chance you have to get the vaccine to do that. There's going to be some coaches that say, no, this is going to be a fucking colossal mess.
And for the teams themselves, like if half the Patriots team doesn't show up or whatever, will the other half hate them for doing that?
And there's no chance those guys make the team, right?
Yeah.
With Bill Belichick, they said there will be no consequence if you opt out for COVID situations. That was immediately upon saying it. I think you and I said that's not true. I love the fact that they're saying it, and that can be that's a great theory, by the way. Hey, that's a great theory to have. I love that that's in there, but that's just not, we're in a human business, and the NFL is hey, who do we want to, go to battle with this guy if he opts out to not be with us? It's a team thing. We just knew that wasn't going to work, but it's going to become some teams go, some teams don't, some players get cut, some teams stink, it's never ending, AJ. It's all bullshit.
Is there any way to solve this? Or is it just like things are going to go on and be like they've always been?
I don't know. I think the ramp up could potentially work if they extended it a little bit before training camp, if they had like a OTA kind of thing and a little bit longer and then go into the ramp up that everybody loved. And during those OTAs, the rookies can be on the field and doing their workouts. So then the same ramp up is similar to what it was last year, which all the veterans like. I think they could do that, but that involves a lot of collective bargaining. That's like a lot of, you know what I mean, to get that done.
Well, don't you think, I don't know. Yeah. As Ty, that's a great question, because is there something that can happen where both sides, but okay, if the owner, is there something the owners are saying that, hey, if we do this, the players we're going to be fine. Like if we figure this out, I don't know what that answer is. Like even if I know the Broncos are setting up a vaccination site at their place for players, for family members that live there with you, they're having like a conference call or a Zoom with doctors to try to explain the vaccine to anybody that's going to come in and get it. But to try to say, you can't say, hey, if guys all come in and get vaccinated, then they can come in and do their off-season program and be all right, because there's no way every player in the NFL is going to agree to get vaccinated.
People can, say what they want. Like, guys will do it if they can get back in the field. It's like, man, the reason why
there's a lot of the opt-out and the thing the owner said, there's a lot of guys I feel like with religious beliefs that would not get the vaccine. I think I know multiple guys like that.
A bona fide health or religious reason. If they don't have a they need a we need a written essay.
What's a bona fide religious reason? Yeah. What does
God,
that mean?
So God told me, listen, Raj. All right. Spoke to God immediately upon reading this memo. Mm-hmm. God told me, ain't doing it. And if that ain't bona fide, what do you want me to go get some gold plates in upstate New York?
Kidding me?
What do you want me to do, dude? You want to climb to the top of a mountain? What's that?
Raj how could Raj do that? You can't really say, hey, no, well, your religion's not as old as this guy's religion, so it doesn't matter. Your religion doesn't count as much as this one, so your reason is not bona fide.
Hey, in the United States of Goodell, though, there is a chance that these religions will be judged. There is a chance that they will be judged. Oh, guys will be making up shit. Oh my God, which religion involves not having to get vaccinated? Like guys will be like that don't want to get vaccinated. By the way, there's humans out there that do not. We can act as if that doesn't happen. That is happening right now. Like that's a really controversial thing happening in the world. But there will be guys that's like, what is the religion that I don't have to get vaccinated? I'm that religion for sure. They'll read 2 Wikipedia pages. They'll write an essay. They'll be like, yeah, I'm fucking Buddha, dude.
Yeah.
I'm a Buddhist, bro.
There'll be the NFL Koresh. There'll be a Koresh coming out of the NFL now saying, hey, look, what I believe in doesn't tell me I need that.
Yeah, so why is that even in the memo? Maybe it's not going to be that big of a deal. Maybe we're just making something out of nothing. Oh, that's what sports are in the offseason. Okay, let's talk about some things that are complete bullshit, possibly. Justin Fields' pro day yesterday, AJ. It was, somebody gave an opinion that it was held off TV because the teams that chose to invest to go there didn't want other people to see what was going on. Now, I have no idea if that's accurate or not. I do not like that it was done on TV. I think it's unfair to Justin Fields, actually, by the way. I think if he would have had another pro day where it was just him, just like Zach Wilson had his own day where it was just him, I think he would have had a chance to absolutely dominate. But if this is what the teams wanted, the teams are going to get what they want. From your birdie that was potentially in the building, all signs and pictures sound like in videos that have been released, Justin Fields crushed it yesterday. Is that what you're hearing as well?
Yeah, that is what I'm hearing from people that were there inside the facility. Yeah, he looked as impressive as he did last time, and maybe even a little bit better than his first pro day.
Okay, and also you've compound that with a quote that Connor found on the internet. Sermon, the running back, he had a quote that came out. Now, listen, Sermon is teammates with Justin Fields. This is just like the Devontae Smith, Mac Jones, Tua thing. Now, granted, I think that is tough to put somebody in that situation that they did where somebody Mac and then somebody else came out and was like Mac and then a private conversation was leaked publicly. Mac, it's just like, okay, so that'll happen. But Sermon said that basically everything he's hearing about Justin Fields is a bunch of bullshit almost. He said he's a great leader. He was tough. He was everything like that. Is there a chance here in the last 14 days, we got 2 weeks until the first round, where this narrative that we've heard hyped gets completely reversed? That would be awesome for Justin Fields, and also something we got to remember next year as a not so naive show, I think, you know?
Well, I don't think we will remember it next year. It seems like we're so easy to forget because, you just jump on stuff that people hear.
True.
But I think, yes, the narrative could absolutely change over these next couple of weeks. And for Justin Fields, hopefully for him, it changes into the right direction. I almost feel like, though, it's starting to go that way. Like, people are questioning, like, oh, could he go 3 to San Fran? Like, what teams truly are interested in him? And like you said, it's all garbage. Nobody really knows except for those 32 people making that decision. But, man, the closer you get, I feel like there's more chaos involved.
Well, then there was a report this morning that Sam Darnold was almost traded to the Niners for the 12th overall pick, but Joe Douglas and company had questions about Zach Wilson's elbow or something like. Which, by the way, I didn't know we had
shoulder.
Questions.
I think.
Shoulder.
Yeah.
I didn't know we had questions on Zach. Well, did we know that there was?
He had an injury his junior year, I think, and he had to miss a bunch of time to get surgery.
I did not know we had questions. That never came out. He skyrocketed. I did not know that there was potential injury issues. And then to hear that, and then it was immediately debunked by another insider that was like, nah, that's not true. It's just like, who knows, dude?
Well, then I saw a bunch of people making a big deal about like Matt Ryan before him and Kyle Shanahan were together in Atlanta. He was like taking shotgun snaps with his left foot back, and then he switched them. And then same thing happened with Justin Fields, and they like at his pro day yesterday, he was doing it the same way. So people were saying like, oh, if these guys been together, like, is he kind of morphing into Shanahan's style right now?
Did you see that?
Yeah, I saw that. I don't think San Francisco maybe they did ask them to do that, or maybe the players know, like, hey, I need to show them what I would look like in their system.
Well, I don't know if the left foot back or the right foot forward is a system tell or anything like that. I think quarterbacks change what they do at shotgun. I mean, that happens. You know what I mean? Like,
it's whatever's comfortable. Yeah, for sure.
And they go through phases, by the way. Peyton landed on that. He had his foot back almost open, and then he would come. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know if he always did that. Like, they move their action.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there's guys that, like, the clap happens sometimes, and then they do a whole thing. That is something.
Depending on the play.
Yeah.
Depending on the play, too. If the quarterback has a little RPO or something, he might try to wait till the last possible second to shift his feet if he needs to have right foot back or left foot back to try to whatever the handoff motion may be or play action.
But, man, it is. And I've heard, I think Swagoo. I think Swagoo tweeted this, and I think I saw some other people. I think Damian Woody was also tweeted. I think there was a couple people. Ryan Clark might have got into it as well. It feels like this is becoming like a pretty common thing. The over-analysis that is happening, and I think it's because the NFL and NFL media, it has grown so much. Like even in the last year, it feels like more people are invested in the NFL. There seems like there's more shit happening with the NFL. There's more trades. There's more rumors. There's more GMs in there that I think are more active. There's just like, it's constantly evolving into like this everyday thing. It's becoming a pain in the ass though when it comes to the analysis of potential college prospects that we are never ever going to watch full film on.
Well,
you know? Never, ever going to do that. I'm never going to do that. So I just have to take the word of people that I respect. And then those people's opinions they're evolving as well as they see more things. It's like, well, I'm getting secondhand fucked here. You know what I mean? This entire thing. You know what I mean, AJ?
I think a lot of people, though, there's a ton of people that you may see on TV or listen to on the radio where at certain times, they're just kind of parroting what they've heard from other people. There's no way to truly study every person. I mean, Mel Kiper and the draft experts, they definitely do. They know
maybe
it seems like every single person there, I feel like. But what?
They might have the Tom Pelissero brain and they just read everybody's name or whatever, you know. But by the way, did you hear us dissect Tom Pelissero earlier?
No, I did not. I didn't get to see all of it. I only saw a little bit.
Okay, so we had a conversation about Tom coming on. And we're like, every time Tom comes on, it sounds like he is speaking directly for Roger Goodell. Like he's an extension of Roger Goodell. It really, every time he comes on, and I'm not saying we don't like it. I'm not saying we love it. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that's something we have to think about when somebody comes on. It's like, all right, we got to remember where this information's coming from as we continue to do this whole thing. So today we decided in a vitamin state before, like, hey, we're just going to address it with Tom. Like today is the day we are going to just ask him about. We asked him about a potential Neuralink, like Elon Musk from Roger Goodell potentially in his brain at all times. He reads those memos and he just collects it and then just regurgitates the entire memo. So whenever he's giving an answer, it is like maybe the most informed, well thought out answer for why the NFL is doing what and it's because he's literally just telling you what all the NFL lawyers and PR people put together to announce. He just reads 17-page memos and like the next day he's just coming out, boom, this is what it's doing. It is fascinating to hear that entire shit because the NFL's spinning stuff too. You know what I mean? The NFL's always spinning stuff as well.
But does he, on the other side, though, will he read stuff that from the PA or what players are trying to do or somebody pushing against the NFL, and can he regurgitate that?
Yeah, I think he can. But by the way, since the beginning of time, the players' messaging is always much, much worse. I don't know why. We talked about this during the CBA negotiation. I was actually pleading. I almost got into like some media beef because of the way I was talking. I was like, hey, the only people that are releasing any information right now during these CBA negotiations, just like the last time, by the way, that we were a part of, is the NFL. The NFL is leaking the offers, the information, the reasoning. So then the media, they have that information. They're like, the NFL offered these fucking spoiled players. You know what I mean? Like that's kind of how it all goes there. And I was like pleading, like NFLPA, can you please like just leak some, not to me, that doesn't have to be to me. Just leak some information to somebody to explain like in a real coherent, like, hey, this is why we're doing it. And then all of a sudden the narrative potentially changed. I don't know if the players have ever really recognize that as a massive part of this entire thing, especially publicly. And ultimately, in the end, they're never going to win the PR battle either, though, you know?
Well, those billionaires are billionaires for a reason. Those guys and girls have grown up, or what they've done, they've built up their big old company, or they've taken over a company that was in their family or whatever, and they're used to dealing with lawyers and contracts and negotiations all the time. Players are used to playing football. Are used to, oh, hey, my agent will take care of that. Like,
Get me
that's all
out
that
of
matters.
Here. Yeah, me. I am not reading that. Are you kidding me? They actually, the NFLPA sent like a 10-page something. You remember this during the first CBA? It was like a 10-page email, and they asked us to vote on something or whatever. And I was like, I should not be asked to vote on this. There's zero chance I'm reading that fucking thing. You know what I mean? And then the media was like, the NFL knows that the players are not going to read through this whole thing. And it's like, you're 100% right. The NFL is 100% right. I'm not doing it. But my entire take was like, I should not be voting. Hey, my vote should not matter on this because I am not reading this. It is not an informed take at all. Let's go ahead and let the people that are reading it do it. But then you got to be like, are they actually, or are they just potentially getting what that 10-page email is from somebody else who wants something to happen? You know, it's all big business, baby. Just like this. Hey, hashtag Pat's up to something. No G on the end. Give your guess of what you think the big announcement is going to be here within probably the next few days. Are we trending?
Oh, yeah.
There it is.
Number 5. All right, shout out. Shout out to you guys. Disneyland. We're ahead of Disneyland.
Tell me it's open.
By the way, is with Disneyland and California's other theme parks set? I don't know what
to wait in virtual
scheduled to reopen. Scheduled to reopen.
Wow.
Okay.
Yes. Look, they're going to wait in virtual lines to secure tickets. It said.
I don't blame them.
Yeah, you go on those Zoom calls. It's just like I did for the NBA playoff, and then I got ejected.
Oh, you took your shirt off or something, didn't you?
It was hot, dude. It was hot in the kitchen. What do you want from me? I did it on my phone.
Can't show your nips on TNT.
I didn't. It was chest up. You wouldn't even got it. It would have been my neck. Would have been here.
Worse stuff got through those Zoom calls, just for the record there.
They kicked me out immediately. Great. It was terrible. I don't know how anybody's...
guy?
What's that?
Talking about the CNN guy?
Well, no, but
AJ,
yeah.
What?
What happened?
Ty knows about it.
I mean...
We do.
What?
Well,
CNN.
A lot of things happening on those Zooms. You know, guys thinking, hey, my camera's off. Let me maybe grease my gator a little bit. Will and behold, everyone's
watching.
watching.
What was that guy's name? What was his name? Oh, Will. No. They were yelling at him.
Yeah, I can't remember the guy's name in that video, but...
Do you remember that guy?
Oh, yeah. Oh, God, what is he doing?
Hey, those Zoom calls got some people, man. Hopefully those won't be talked about years from now, you know? I'm sure they won't.
No.
People would not understand that the time we were in, the things that were potentially going on. The big asterisk that is the year 2020 and 2021 will be a do you remember when? And I think in our entire story, we will say, do you remember when? I was up to something. Let's go ahead and do it. We'll be back in about 4 minutes answering some phone calls alongside AJ Hawk. This is the Pat McAfee Show. I'm up to something.
Coming live from the heartland, USA, where dreams go to die and your friends get sent away. Working to survive 9 to 5 every day. Spend your paycheck up at Walmart and Chick-fil-A. Pull up in a Honda, baby, we ain't got the top down. Parking lot at Taco Bell, I need a mild sauce now. You asking a lot of questions, looking like a cop now. Eat your chicken quesadilla, baby girl, and calm down. Who that? Country boy with the flow, that's me. That's me. My rock, cowboy boots, and Supreme.
All right, so it's come to my attention that when I went on Pat McAfee's show on Friday, I offended some of you Jet fans because your organization has completely changed, and this time you're convinced that they're going to get it right. And so I unfairly accused you guys of not really knowing what you're doing when it comes to the draft. And I've got to be honest with you. Robert Saleh is one of my favorite people in the National Football League. I think the guy's an incredible coach. And I think he's a great leader of men. So I'm excited for Robert Saleh's tenure at the Jets. So I thought what I would do today to make it up to you Jet fans is, give you a little show and tell. Now this is actually the helmet I wore in the AFC Championship game and in the Super Bowl 33. So I thought I would share with you guys some Super Bowl rings and kind of the story of the championship games behind getting to these Super Bowls. So see if you can pick out the one where the Broncos beat the Jets, okay? No, it's not that one. That's Super Bowl 26, the Skins over the Buffalo Bills. In that NFC Championship, we beat the Detroit Lions. I mean, put a beat down on them. It was like 45-10 or something of that nature. I mean, I'm telling you, the sisters were kinder in Shawshank Redemption to Andy Dufresne than we were to the Lions that day. So that's not it. Now, this one is Super Bowl 32. That's really my favorite ring because the Broncos on that day were 11-point underdogs or 11.5-point underdogs to the Green Bay Packers. So in the AFC Championship, we beat Pittsburgh. We had to convert a 3rd down and 7 at the very end of the game to seal the victory, which we did. So it wasn't that one. You're right, Jets fans. That's the one right there in the middle. That's Super Bowl 33, and that's when the Jets were up on us 10-0 in the 3rd quarter, and then we came back and opened a can of whooping.
Give us a call at 888-MAD-DOG-6. Pat wants to hear from you. No, not really. He just ran out of things to talk about. This is the Pat McAfee Show.
Welcome back to that show. Shout out to DJ Griff for this banger. David Morris, a new person we're going to start streaming a lot of his music around on the vlogs and everything. Absolute stud, formerly known as DY. This is not him, but we appreciate him yesterday. And Alonzo 2Z's Indianapolis dude who makes great music.
Shout out.
Shout out. Today's sponsor,
Yeah.
Public.com.
Oh,
An
love
investing
Public.
app where you can buy stocks, follow investors, and share ideas. I joined Public, and you could see my portfolio, AJ.
It's not investment advice, though, from you, right? But if we want to follow you, we can.
Yeah. This is a watch thing. Listen, this is not like a, hey, what I'm doing, I'm telling you should do, because this is not investment advice.
No.
This is just like, hey, if you want to potentially see what I'm snooping around in with what I think is potentially about to pop off, search for @Pat McAfee in the app. Here's why Public is the best place to invest. You can follow other users' portfolios, including me. Obviously, I just said that.
Yep.
Shaq.
Whoa.
Get on it. Get on it.
He's on everything.
Not investment advice, but Shaq's probably going to be successful in the stock market, if I
Yeah,
guess.
for sure.
Tony Hawk.
What?
Yeah, do a kickflip, dude. And look at these fucking stocks I got going on. And thousands more. The app is free, and you can start with as little as $1. Obviously, you can buy slices, portions of stock versus full shares. So the big thing here is they don't sell your data or information to third parties or market makers like other stupid investment apps.
Huge.
You get a free slice of stock when you go to public.com Pat McAfee /Pat McAfee, I'd assume. Public.com /Pat McAfee to download the Public app. Get started today and make sure to follow me and other folks that seem to be pretty successful in doing things that aren't named Pat McAfee. I would follow them. Valid for U.S. residents 18 plus, subject to account approval. See public.com /disclosures. This is not investment advice.
No, it's not.
This is not. Oh, by the way, I could do one of these things. No, that wasn't it.
Nice.
Wow,
See
right
that?
on the pile.
That was good. Yeah.
On the pile. That's where it'll start. Pretty fucking good. There are places that do seek advice, though, in different fashions. You know what I mean? You can go ask somebody. You can maybe put out a poll, though.
Sure.
Maybe
Okay.
put out some other things. The Washington football team has released some potential names for the franchise going forward, and people are being tasked and asked to vote for their favorites. So I reached out to Jason Wright, friend of the show, president of the Washington football team. I would believe this is a rather massive part of what he has to get accomplished for that organization. A man who has seemed to be maybe one of the brightest, quickest, smartest guys we've had on this show.
Yep.
Also, the best president of an NFL organization we've ever had on this show.
Without question.
By far.
Yeah. Is he the only one?
Maybe.
Potentially. But by far, best president that we have ever had a conversation with on this show. He said to me, because I asked him, I said, hey, are these the finalists? You know what I mean? Like, hey, are these the finalists is what I asked. And he gave me back a very transparent answer, actually, that was, by the way, just as intelligent as we should have guessed and hoped. I want to say what he said while we put the names up on the screen, hopefully, that were given in the graphic there. There's a lot of them out there. Monarchs, Warriors, the Washington Rising, the Washington Red Wolves. That was one that was started on the internet heavily last year and got a lot of traction. The Commanders, the Ambassadors, the Aviators, Renegade, the Wayfarers. I hope that one does not hit. I hope that one is not in there. Presidents, Swifts, the Rubies. Little Titanic. Wild Hogs, though.
Yes.
Right there. That one seems like that has taken the leader.
Big Tim Allen fan? What is that?
Well, Ty likes it strictly because their fans were the Hogettes.
Yeah, the Hogettes, dude.
In Wild Hogs.
Back when they were rolling people. I guess that one that makes a little sense, maybe.
Well, and just think about saying the Wild Hogs dog walk the Cowboys. You know what I mean? Like just the thought of Wild Hogs being an NFL name for me. I'm not sure every broadcaster would feel this way, but for me, the more Wild Hogs we can get into NFL coverage, I'm there for. Obviously, there's a few other names, including one that we pitched, I believe, the DC FC, the Washington, D.C. Football Club, which I'm pretty excited that it even made it onto the list. So I asked Jason Wright, I said, are these the finalists? And he responds to me with an incredibly intelligent statement. While there are some specific names on the survey that are getting traction and seem like viable options, the point is to test the types of names fans and potential fans are generally into and which they are allergic to. Strong negative reaction to categories of names is very helpful for us as well as we go forward. You gotta remember, this is a $1 billion organization who is trying to rename itself in a very established league that prides itself on a legacy and being around a long time. This is not going to be an easy task. No matter what the name is, somebody's going to hate. They're trying to figure out all potential outcomes. Seeking the public's approval, I think, is absolutely genius. All steps are meaningful, he says. He doesn't have any time, basically, for bullshit. You know, so it's like they're trying to figure this out, and I absolutely love that you're actually, because a lot of people say it's about the fans. We appreciate our fans. We want to hear from our fans. And then normally that's a lot of lip service. It feels like over there they're like, hey, listen, we know this is going to be a big deal for everybody. Let's go ahead and try to at least test the temperature of how the water is in certain parts of this thing.
And no matter what name they pick, like you're never going to make everybody happy. You're just hoping to get something that seems to fit. And then in 5-6 months from now, it's like you never think of it. You don't think of it again. It's like, yeah, that's just who they are.
And by the way, I think the NFL has a funny way of doing that. I mean, we're calling it the Washington football team as if it was normal last year.
Yeah, it was awesome, actually.
And we're like, Washington football team. It actually said football team.
Whose football team got this weekend?
It actually became something. I almost beat the Super Bowl champions, actually. It's unbelievable.
Just keep it. They might as well keep it now.
Well, I think midway through the season, I was like, is this just a name going forward? Because of how easy it was just coming off the tongue to talk about. I assume that they would like to have some sort of mascot or something, not just I would assume they would want to have a brand name. I don't know. Not that football team isn't. And DCFC is dope. Listen, I'm pretty pumped that it's on there. But every other name is Washington instead of DC. I wonder if that is a potential test to see if the DC thing is going to be involved.
If they're also trying to get rid of Dan Snyder eventually, this might just be like, hey, let's, we're going to scrub this guy off the earth, so we might as well change the team name, change the uniform, the color scheme, all that kind of stuff.
But let's remember, facts say he just bought out the entirety of that team.
True.
If he's getting pushed out, it doesn't seem like the steps to do so are taking place currently.
No.
Seems like the opposite.
At least Jason knows the Ambassadors. Hey, wipe that off the board. No one wants the Washington Ambassadors.
You don't like the Ambassadors?
No, I don't.
Why? Is it because of the diplomatic immunity?
Perhaps, but I like the Red Wolves. I like the Wild Hogs. And like you just said, I like the football team. I don't get why we're going away from WFT. Just make that a mascot.
WFT.
Just a massive guy with a huge WFT.
You know what it could be?
What's that?
You know those, I watched this on America's Got Talent and on the sides of streets and cities and stuff?
Yeah.
You know when there's one person that has like 2 other people on a stick?
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? And then he could be the F in the middle of football, and then on the sticks is the W and the T. You know what I mean?
The only 3-person mascot.
We have an update on the LED board. This must mean something. The number one trend in the United States.
How about that?
Oh, no, baby.
You guys are the best! You guys are the best. Ticketmaster was experiencing issues with the Babani World Tour that is happening. Ticketmaster, by the way, has been out of business for a while. I'd assume they had to update some tech to get some bugs out. Congrats to Bad Bunny, by the way, going on a world tour. Saw that was announced. I will be going to that. Became a big fan of his over his run in the wrestling world. Actually, it doesn't seem like I'm going to be able to go.
Yeah,
probably not.
Tough to get.
But anyways, we appreciate everybody participating in the hashtag Pat's Up to Something. Keep the guesses flowing in there. I have not checked. I do not know if somebody has gotten it accurately enough to be deemed a winner of the $7,500. But know that since you can see that we're on and in our road studio, which is nicer than an office studio.
Yeah, it is.
Which is somehow nicer than our office studio. We are up to something. There is an announcement coming. You could potentially win with your big ass brain, which is what we like to do, is give away money. AJ, how about this, huh?
Let's go.
How about it? So when is there a deadline? Is there a time when you have to tell everybody what it is?
No, you see, that is something that's fluid, potentially. You know what I mean? That is something.
You're going to wait till they figure it out. You're going to wait till somebody writes an article that's correct, and then you're going to be like, okay.
Article? You think I care about an article? I don't care about an article. I know
you wouldn't. No. Yeah, I think you care about everything, but I know
not
you have a
articles.
calculated plan.
I don't care about the articles. I'm not big into the articles game. I've learned to. I mean, there's some writers I appreciate.
Sure.
Of course.
There's some writers I appreciate, but tweet's good enough for me. You know what I mean? Tweet is a good enough thing for me. AJ, you want to get some phone calls, pal?
Yeah, let's do it. I tell you what, I give the boys some credit. They got phone calls, everything working from this road studio, right?
Zito production, dude. Wires everywhere. Tim McAfee.
Especially the climate. Isn't the climate real humid, too, where you guys are?
Possibly.
I don't know. I didn't pack a sweatshirt. I should have.
Conflicting reports like Sam Darnold to the fucking Niners this morning. What do you got? Let's go to Chad in California. What's going on, Chad?
Pat and the boys, what's going on? Thursday, baby.
You sound better than you sound in the studio. What would you like to talk about, pal? This is fucking wild.
I want to talk about Justin Fields. I'm on the same page. All this bullshit and the slander that's going on.
Yeah.
As a Broncos fan sitting at 9, I hope General Patton's the one stirring that pot up, letting him fall right in our lap. Because if he gets to the AFC West on my Denver Broncos, he's going to torch their ass like he did the Clemson defense. Sorry, Dabo. Let's go, Justin Fields. He's the second best quarterback in this draft. We're all on the same page, baby. He's going to be a stud.
He might be the best quarterback in this draft when it's all said and done. We have no idea, but it feels like a lot of fans would love to have Justin Fields on their team. Now, history will tell us whether or not it's a good decision years down the road on how it all goes and all that, but it feels like a lot of people are like, what's going on? I watch him throw. I watch him move. I listen to everything that was said about him last year and the year before that, and it's like, what are we even doing right now, AJ? What are we doing?
Hey, but how much, I guess, pull do you think, like, what happens on ESPN, on Fox, what happens on radio, does that have on teams like the fan base? If someone's like, oh, no, Justin Fields, you hear – no way. They claim they hear some allegedly bad stuff about him, so then they're down. And then all of a sudden, 3 days later, someone they trust on TV says, like, oh, no, that's completely false. Then they're like, oh, I'm back in. Like, is it a roller coaster if you're a fan of these teams?
I think we as a society have gotten to the point where we're smart enough to judge whether or not we should take the person seriously who is acting to be an expert in a field that they clearly aren't. Okay? Yeah. Mm-hmm. I talked about this a couple different times where I feel like one of my strengths, and there's not a lot of them, there's a lot of weaknesses as well, but one of my strengths is I feel like I know my, hey, listen, this is what I should feel confident opening my mouth in talking about. Like, you know what I mean? Like in Twitter, I feel it's the same way. I feel like every time you do something, it's the same way. And I'm not 100% sure that everybody feels the same way I do, especially in the social media world it is. And you got people who have no idea what the fuck they're talking about. Clearly, they got a large platform because of something else, and they're giving their opinion, trying to persuade other people to feel the exact same way, right? And I'm not saying everybody. I know there's a lot of very diverse people who are popular in one thing but are very talented in other things. I mean, The Rock's going to be the president, okay? The guy was a wrestler, movie star. He I think he threw an actual tank at one point in his life, and now so I understand that there are people that, but I feel like a large portion of people in this world feel as if because they're a potential expert in something or deemed an expert in something, they're also experts in other things. I do not feel that way. I have no idea. But I feel like we as a society are starting to get to the point where it's like, okay, that person potentially doesn't know. So whenever it's the ESPN people that you have trust in and respect in, and whenever they say things, it's hard not to buy. Like, be like, okay, well, if that, yeah, I do.
Where there's smoke, there's fire. Don't you assume that?
Yeah.
Hey, where there's smoke, there's fire. There might be some sort of, even if it's 10% true, there may be something to this. And that's what it gets in their head, I think.
Like Rossini, for instance. Rossini, if she's tweeting that something's potentially happening, I'm like, all right,
probably happening.
I think she has proved through the past 3 months that whenever she's sending something, there's probably something going on. There's been other people that, they say something we've had to kind of back off, but it is very much like a pick and choose type thing. And I would assume fans are doing the same thing, trying to figure out who they trust, who can do that. And if that person says like, hey, Justin Fields is a stud, here's why, I assume that persuades a lot of people. But then on the flip side, you got to think if somebody dogs them, that has to change some thoughts as well. That's why Justin Fields has to be the most excited person for April 29th to come. Maybe more so than us with our draft spectacular.
Do you think because that is the situation, like the guy who called in was talking about the Broncos at 9, like I feel we are starting to get like the Justin Fields resurgence. Don't you think that if he doesn't go to the Niners at 3, someone's trading up to 4 to get him?
Connor, if he was with the Patriots, how happy would you be?
I mean, it's definitely a possibility. I've tried to push it out of my mind, but as we're talking here, it feels more so as if Justin Fields is going back to 2. Like 3 months ago, he was 2, locked in, has been for 2 years. And then 3 months later, you're looking at neck circumference versus passing yard graphs, and you have no idea what the hell people are talking about.
AJ, by the way, I saw a graph that you might have missed your fucking calling, pal. Now, we don't know if this graph was a ruse or not. It led to a full article, I think, on
NFL.com.
On NFL.com. I believe it started on Reddit, where I am just now learning about, by the way. And it is a gold mine. The Reddit is all
treasure trove.
It really is.
Yeah.
I had never done the Reddit. Reddit and YouTube, I think, are the only 2 platforms over however many years that have grown every single day. They're like the only 2 platforms that every single day that of their existence they have grown or something like that. I think that was a stat that I saw or whatever. So that's a pretty powerful thing. Once I saw that, I was like, okay, so staying power. Okay, there is staying power going on Reddit. And I never understood it before. I actually mocked it. I'm like, I'm not getting in there. I can't. I've never read a book. I'm not supposed to be in Reddit or whatever. But it is a treasure trove in there of things and stats and analytics and these information things for NFL that you could never really seem to find anywhere else. And then once it starts there, it goes somewhere else. And I think Twitter does a lot of starting shit, but I think Reddit does as well. This neck size graph comparison to success of quarterback, I'm not sure if it's real or not, but looks like Justin Fields has the largest neck coming out. Remember, that was the first thing we said whenever we saw him at the pro. I was like, yo, he looks yoked. If this graph is any indicator and nothing is an indicator, he's the number 1 guy, just strictly because of neck size. Bigger the neck, more success at quarterback in the NFL because you got to hold up that big-ass brain on top of that thing.
Does it go to the old theory that any big-time movie star has a big head? Like they always, you heard that before?
Oh, yeah.
Well, that's because it's more visible or something like that. And also, I think because they're all so small. They're so tiny. You know what I mean? All the actors are just so small. You see.
So why do the big head people rise to the top then?
Take up more of the screen.
Yeah.
No, they're bigger.
Because back in the day, 720 standard def, they couldn't really, you just had to have that blob out there like your screen.
But wouldn't you say, though, like a gigantic, overweight person would take up more space, too, so they should be the star?
Yeah, but they're not putting fucking gigantic overweight people in Hollywood movies. They're putting guys like George Clooney.
But they should, by the way. I want to let you know, I think they should. But, yeah, for a long time, it did feel like there was a bit of a bias.
Yeah.
Who has a big neck right now in the NFL that's playing quarterback at a high level?
Well, first things first, you got to look at Aaron Rodgers' neck. That guy's underneath, a power bar or a power lift out there in Iowa. His neck, I assume, is the biggest of all time. Here's the graph. Yes, this is awesome, by the way. We can do this thing right here. So, AJ, if you look at the neck circumference versus career passing yard stat, it's an XY axis, obviously. And you want to see things suck down here. They're great up there. Okay, you see that? You always want to see the arrow going like this right here. Like we just talked about Reddit, YouTube, our business, things like that. A lot of this stuff going on, okay? When you're up there, that's when good shit's popping off. Career passing yards, over 80,000 yards with a big-ass neck circumference down here. You got a small little baby neck, okay? You got a little P-neck down here, 14 and a half.
Screwed.
That's 8th grade dress shirt, by the way. I don't know what NFL quarterback is wearing my 8th grade dress shirt that I had to buy, okay, for a fall dance or something like that. They stink in football. By the way, I'd assume they also stink in a lot of athletic activities that involve some physical contact. Just if you got that tiny of a neck, I couldn't even fathom what else is going on. But once you start getting to the 18 and a halfs where, AJ, I'd assume what, you're 22 and a half, 24 and a half? What is your
35 and a
35.
half.
You might have thrown for 200,000 yards if you played quarterback.
Are you telling me does that graph show me that there's a quarterback in the NFL that had a 24.5-inch neck?
It says it's bigger than that, actually. 25, I think, inch neck.
Peyton Manning over here might be.
Yeah,
I don't know. You need to check those numbers, man. Do you know anybody with a 25-inch neck?
Excuse me. Led into this was saying.
Yeah, could be a fugazi.
Could be a complete fugazi. We're just telling you, just like the Sam Darnold potentially to the Niners, we just got to wade through the bullshit. If this has any chance of being true, which there was an article written on NFL.com.
Yep.
Okay? So, right, Connor?
I read the whole thing. I was mind blown. And then I just realized Trey Lance is the best quarterback in this upcoming draft. He's got a huge neck.
Oh, Trey Lance has the biggest neck?
He's got the biggest one, yep. And then, who's the number 2? Justin Fields.
AJ, how come you don't have a 25-inch neck? What quarterback's out here trying to debo you the entire time?
There's no quarterback out there with a 25-inch neck. I'm going to go out on a limb and make that claim right now. There's no current quarterback with a 25-inch neck.
Well, I would assume he's done. I mean, look how many yards he threw.
Come on.
I mean, there's a lot of people still working right now down here, pal. It's should have been you, AJ. Could have been you.
Peyton Manning, 71,940 yards in the NFL. So we might be looking at him over here.
He's right over here. He's got the 25.
That's
no way. There's no way.
Yep.
Yeah. That's what this graph is saying.
Bro, we know guys that are DBs and receivers that have 25-inch waist. So you're telling me someone's neck is that big?
Yep, that's the sheriff.
Peyton.
This was an article on NFL.com, AJ. Listen.
Right, maybe I'm missing it. I'm missing something here.
Well, yeah, you missed out on a lot of passing yards in the NFL, I do believe. We got to get to a break. Hour 3's on the other side. Tony Fields, the second linebacker from West Virginia, will be joining us in the third hour. He's going into the draft, not a lot of conversation. He was a stud at WVU. I can't wait to chat with him. You have about 6 minutes until the worst show of all time continues. Hashtag Pat's up to something. Try to win $7,500. We'll see you in hour 3. In this office. This kid was once a videographer for weddings. He shoots no less than 200 basketballs a day. Now he's become full-time producer of Pat McAfee show. The kid, I think, could potentially play in the NBA. He's been on the sideline of the national championship. Kid's been at the Super Bowl. Is one of the most talented dudes when it comes to interneting. And if Foxy drains an NBA 3 on his first shot, we will add $1,000 into the for $1,000 to win $1,000. You make this $1,000 for $2,000 cash for the listeners.
I'd be lying if I said I wasn't nervous. My hands are sweating right now. I had no clue this was happening. I have no warm-ups. This is the biggest shot I've ever had. So I'm a little sore. I've never had a shot worth $1,000. I've never had a shot with this many eyes on me. But hey, I have no excuses.
That
This
wasn't
isn't about
excuse. Knees weak, arms are heavy. Go ahead, Foxy. Kid from Michigan with a beard. Evan Foxy with a fresh fade. Couple dribbles. He gets set. He steps up. He puts it up. Mom spaghetti. He's nervous, but on the surface he looks calm and ready to drop bombs. His worst shot today. Disgusting, despicable, air ball for nothing. short left brick.
That was the worst shot I've ever seen him shoot in the history of this office.
Without question.
It was an absolute brick. Have you ever seen a kid shoot that terribly? I left it out. Another miss.
One, I'm a roast Foxy. He was the reason Zito crashed the RV at MetLife. Foxy, you might look good, but you're a jinx, cuz you're like
He's dead. He's dead. Rest in peace, Foxy. Evan Fox is currently 0 for 3, currently shooting 0% in these types of shots. You have missed disgustingly. We're sorry, listeners. We're sorry, followers. We're sorry, subscribers. Evan Fox is just trying to ruin it at all stops. You are 0 for 4 in these types of shots. There's 0 chance this ball goes in. He's gone 0 for 5. That was a $1,000 shot that didn't even hit rim. I stink. In front of the millions and millions of people. He held it up too. That's tough. That's embarrassing. The kid who never misses when the camera isn't on. Evan Fox, who's very handsome and very talented, will attempt to shoot for $2,000 cash for the listeners. We will give away 2 great. Oh, he passes it to himself off the brick. He steps up for the win. He steps up for the wing. I am so happy he hangs on the rim in an attempt to break it. We will give away $2,000 because Evan Fox is now 1 for 7. In nothing but splash for the young, handsome Evan Foxy. Wow, what a day. I am so happy for you. That opening kickoff in that Super Bowl you're referring to with the Colts, Hester takes it a crib. You having a little bit of a heart attack there?
Very bad decision, Pat, on my part. All week up in Indy, we're practicing, and we know he's their number 1 threat. They don't have a lot of offensive weaponry. They win with defense and special team. So for the whole week, we're in Indy. We're not going to let him touch the ball. We practice squibbing to the corners, bouncing the ball, high kick, pop-up kickoff, punt it out of bounds. Everything to not let him touch the ball. We have a chapel service, and the chaplain talks about David and Goliath, and he says, hey, the reason David beat Goliath, he wasn't afraid. Everybody else was afraid. David ran right at him, threw it right between the eyes, and it was over. And I started thinking, we're acting like we're afraid of Devin Hester. So I told the team on Saturday night, I hope we lose the toss. We're going to kick off. We're going to kick it right down the middle. When we pound him, they'll know we mean business. David and Goliath, it's going to be over. We kicked it to him. 12 seconds later, he's in the other end. Sideline, looking at me saying, what idiot decided to kick the ball to Devin Hester? But fortunately, the last 59 minutes, the team made up for it.
Wait until they see the tone we set on the opening kickoff.
Yeah, that was it.
I bet you Vinatieri was sitting there. I
don't know if that's such a good idea.
The Pat McAfee Show.
There'll be no rules for our guests, for us, for the things we can talk about.
Speaking his mind.
I've never had a problem expressing my opinions or my thoughts or anything like that.
While being relatable.
I haven't had that manufactured fake-ass celebrity that a lot of people have whenever they go on those big networks. I've had a chance to really build my crew, build my following, build my audience.
And ridiculous.
What am I supposed to do? So I'm supposed to look at something that I can definitely afford and say, nah. Is that what I'm supposed to do?
The Pat McAfee Show starts in 3, 2, 1.
Welcome back to that show, Thursday, April 15th, 2021. I'm up to something. We're giving money away, and hour 3 will begin immediately following this beat drop from Twine. Shout out to Twine for that beat drop. That thing goes ham. We might change that at some point. It's not because Twine did anything wrong. It's just strictly because I do get sick of things and I have ADD, and I feel like a lot of us feel the exact same way. So we're going to move on, which is why we're potentially adding another chapter to the entire book of this office. An announcement's coming soon. If you want to be a part of a $7,500 giveaway contest, use the hashtag Pat's Up to Something with no G at the end of that, and potentially guess what announcement will be rolling out here potentially in the next few days due to a meeting that happened earlier today that went a lot better than I expected. Be descriptive in your answer. And if there's numerous people that have it right in a descriptive fashion, we'll go to who answered earliest. So get your ass to Twitter and answer right now, because there's a chance you're potentially missing out on it strictly because you'll have it right, but somebody else will do it earlier. We're here on SiriusXM, Channel 82, Mad Dog Sports Radio, YouTube.com/The Pat McAfee Show. AJ Hawk is joining us. AJ, this show has flown by today. I'm going to be 100% serious. I did not expect it to already be hour 3. I feel like we just started this thing, and this is because Zito has done so goddamn good with this entire studio.
Good job. Where is Zeke right now?
He's sitting. So Foxy's got like 4 computers in front of him. Zito's got like 5 computers in front of him, and then Mansuri's over here with keys to a rocket ship, trying to figure out this whole thing. I mean, there's a lot going on, but they're behind the scenes, and we appreciate them. Matt Boston, Connor, Ty Schmidt is here. The boys in Indianapolis are here as well. We're gonna have a guest joining us at some point. Oh, it's at 20? No, it's 2:05, right? Oh, Zito thought it was 225. Yeah. Zito just went behind the thing and was like this. And I was like, I don't think so. I have my sheet here, unless it's a complete lie. 205. Tony Fields II will be joining us here soon. He's a linebacker that's about to come into the NFL. AJ, are you going to give him like wisdom or things to think about whenever we talk to him here?
I don't have a whole lot for him. I can hear the FaceTime calling him right now, though. Can you hear that?
We cannot hear it. So you must have the audio from the backside connected to you, if I had to guess. I cannot hear that.
No.
It is nice to know that we are calling him, though. That means things are happening. You're not going to give him any advice? What's that all about? You think he's going to maybe go to Green Bay?
No, I mean, he definitely could go to Green Bay. I think they could absolutely use him. But no, I'm not one for to give unsolicited advice. It's not really my thing.
Okay. College football national champion, Super Bowl champion, all-time leading tackler for one of the oldest franchises in the NFL, refuses to give any advice to our next guest who will be joining us right now. Out of West Virginia University, played in the Senior Bowl, will be at the Combine, I believe. Incredible player, stud player, flies around. Can't wait to see where he gets drafted, how this whole NFL life changes for him when he gets into the men's league. Ladies and gentlemen, Tony Fields II. What's going on, man?
What's going on? How you doing?
I'm good. Hey, those look like they're fresh twists here, sir. I mean, those just got done, huh?
Yeah, about 2 days ago, they got me right.
Yeah, they look good. By the way, they look very good. I hope you're feeling good as well. How's the body? What is it like training for this entire offseason with COVID protocols and pro days, and there wasn't a combine, now there is a combine? How are you feeling about the whole process right now, Tony?
I'm feeling great. I mean, it's a different process for sure. I've never really been able to just work on strictly football. I've always had school as an obstacle in between it. So, I mean, now it's just strictly football. It's pretty cool to be able to take care of my body and get everything right.
So when you're meeting with these teams or coaches, have you met with anyone in person? And if not, like, what do you do? Do you Zoom with like a position coach and a head coach and GMs? Like, what's going on?
Since the Senior Bowl, like, we met with all 32 teams at the Senior Bowl in person. But since then, it's been straight Zoom meetings, like straight phone calls or Zoom meetings or Skypes. That's about it.
Do they ask you to draw anything up? Do they ask you to draw? Hey, what's your favorite blitz package or something? Do they do that for you?
Look, I got right next to my laptop. I got my pen and paper right here. I got to draw that all the time. I got to sit there and draw up a blitz package. Yep, just like that. Hold it
up. We knew that football coaches, by the way, would do anything they can to figure out whatever questions they have. Have you been asked anything like psychological or personality? It felt like any stupid questions, like if you were an appliance in a kitchen, what would you be? Was there any of those dumb type of questions you've had to experience yet?
Yeah, for sure. It's some crazy type of questions that you get asked. Like, I feel like the craziest thing was like, if I was the last person on earth, what would I do? And it's like, how do you answer that? But I mean, hey.
What did you say? Did you say anything?
Yeah, I mean, it's hard. That's exactly what I told him. I said it's hard to answer that. I don't know. Like, I don't ever put myself in that position, like, to be the last man on earth. I mean, I guess I can do anything I would want to do. You
Oh,
feel me?
yeah. Hey, by the way, I like the fact that you gave a diagnosis of the question, which I assume the coaches would be like, okay, so he's going to think about why or how this would even happen. If I were you, if you get asked that again, just complete bullshit lie. I get lonely. You know, I love being around my teammates, my coaches. I would have
Right.
no idea what to do all by myself. What do you think about your game is going to transition well, though, to the NFL? I guess at the Senior Bowl, you got a chance to work a little bit with an NFL defense and NFL coaches, and I assume a little bit of a scheme there. But what do you think about your game? Because you fly around, which is what I think is a massive thing. I think that's it. But for you, mentally, do you think like it's going to be a big transition, or you feel pretty comfortable with what the game's going to be like in the men's league?
I feel comfortable with the mental aspect. I mean, I feel like my speed, like you said, I fly around. I feel like that's what's going to help me out at the end of the day. It's going to help me get past the little small things that I didn't have right away. But I mean, as long as I get it as far as the playbook and mentally, I'll be good.
Do you ever look at any teams in the NFL right now and look at their scheme that they run on defense and feel like, hey, I think I would do well in that scheme?
Colts.
Yeah, all the time. I watch every team really, especially with all these meetings. I mean, you have to learn some of the schemes, so you learn and you'll learn like, oh yeah, I know I fit in this scheme, or some of them a little bit more shaky than the others. So
I got a chance to chat with a couple people at West Virginia whenever you were coming on. They're like, guy works. He's a worker. Like, hey, this guy is a worker. Like, I think that is the biggest thing. I think, honestly, if you have the ability and if you're a worker, like, I just feel like that is the separator between everything. So whenever people were telling me that about you, I was like, oh, that's great news. Can't wait for another West Virginia guy to have success in the NFL. We're talking to Tony Fields, the second. Am I saying that right? The second?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
That's awesome. Do you have any like nicknames like Deuce or anything? They call you Two or anything?
Nah. Surprisingly, no. I thought I was gonna get one, but nah. They just call me only thing Tone. That's my only nickname, really.
Tone. We got a Tone as well.
Yeah.
Our Tone, pretty dumb, degenerate gambler. You're a much different Tone than he is. Do you focus at all? I guess you haven't really been baptized into the business of the NFL yet. But have you had any conversations with either your representations, or have you had financial people that have already tried to talk to you or anything like that as you transition into a very new world for everybody, which is what the NFL is?
I mean, yeah. I think as of this week, I think I've finally established my full team within financial advisors, PR. I already have my agency and everything like that. I already have my full team behind me to help me out so I can focus on straight football for real.
Do you have any deal yet with a shoe company? Do you know if you're going to be wearing Nikes next year? Do you know anything?
I'm waiting till after the draft for that, but I honestly don't know.
Do you care? Do you care which brand you go with?
I don't. I want to play football. I don't really.
That's what I'm talking about, Tone. Listen, they can all pay to get on your feet. All right, listen, we don't. and there's a couple pairs of shoes that AJ Hawk put on over there that literally felt like cardboard wrapped around plastic on his feet. But Under Armour click-clacked his bank account in a beautiful fashion. You're going into the business world of this thing. Connor, what do you have?
Yeah, Tone, Pat mentioned the Combine. Are you going to go, or do you feel like between, crushing the Senior Bowl and dominating your pro day, you've kind of done enough here?
The Combine was canceled, really. It was really more virtual, and it was medical examinations for guys that got injured or guys that didn't play football really this year. So it was more just the pro days.
What did you have to do at the workouts? Were you prepared for all did you for instance, the 40? Like that is, you said you have nothing but time to focus on football, but I hear a lot of guys that are like, I'm never going to have to do this again. I assume with how fast you were, that was a rather easy process. Do you have a track background? Do you think that helped you in this whole thing, or do you just think your natural body of work was good for you?
I mean, I don't have a track background. My family ran track. My dad ran track. Maybe that's why the speed in my blood a little bit. But, running is always natural to me. So just getting ready to run the form was the number one thing for the 40.
I read a couple scouting reports on you, okay, because I watch the games, but I'm not a college scout. Like, I'm not doing that. Like, I don't have the will
Right.
or the ability.
No, I hear you.
You know what I mean? To do that. But the scouting report, positive was like, you know, the negative was that you're maybe too small to hit somebody. What's that all about? Why is that a negative that's being talked about with you? I did not see that on the field at all with you. Do you think that there has been anything that's been said about you, or maybe coaches have asked about, that you think have just been completely, you know, kind of bullshit almost?
I mean, only thing that you can say, like you said, is the size. I mean, but I never let that slow me down. And at that, I mean, this season I played at 222, and I'm 230 right now, so I'm already up to weight. I'm probably going to go up 5 more pounds, get 235, and I'll be solid. Man. So that size won't be a factor no more either, really.
Hey, I want to let you know, I went into a season at 255 once. Just know that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I couldn't.
Solid, huh?
No. I couldn't catch anybody, but if I did, I would have hit the fuck out of them. I mean, I couldn't catch them. They were running right by me, but if I could, man, that would have been a collision. Ty Schmidt, what do you have?
Tone, have you put any thought into like what's going to happen on draft day? Like, what are you going to be doing? Are you going to have like a big circle with you? Is it going to be pretty tight? Like, have you really thought about that at all yet, or are you just, you know, kind of just waiting for the whole thing to be done?
I feel like I'm gonna have everybody there that I feel like help me get there, help me establish who I am today. So like my family and close friends. But later on that day, I might have like something a little bit bigger within like more friends and more people that I know out in Vegas.
Yeah, smart, by the way. Obviously, socially distanced and all of the.
Exactly.
Yeah, obviously. Listen, dream come true. All right, day you've been dreaming about and working your ass off your entire life.
Mm-hmm.
We'll do it properly, though. We will celebrate that thing. Hey, no matter what happens in the draft, it does not matter. I hope you know that. And I tried to say it to everybody, and I know if somebody told me that whenever I was going into the draft, I would have been like, I don't need to hear that from you. But legitimately, it does not matter. As long as you get in a building is the only thing that matters. So if something doesn't go exactly how you think it's going to go, it does not matter at all. It's just the beginning of either getting a bigger bag at some point or a long ass, you know, and not that you ask for advice, but this is just something I would give you because I was devastated whenever I wasn't drafted to where I thought I was going to go. And then whenever I slid to 222, which you will never see, but when I was way down in the 7th round, it was like it did not fucking matter in the grand scheme of anything. So I hope you just enjoy the hell out of that day and that weekend.
Yes, sir, for sure. I appreciate you.
Yeah, no problem. AJ, you got anything for Tony?
Well, the size thing we were talking about, you're already up to 230. That's plenty big. Like, I think that's like the laziest thing to put a knock on players, especially coming into the league now. Like, you should be between 220 and 230. As long as you can run and you prove that you can hit, like, you don't need to weigh 245. It's an old dumb narrative. I wouldn't worry about that either.
Yeah, don't put on
sure.
Any, yeah, don't get fat and slow over there, Tom.
Oh, right.
Yeah, or don't get
eating fried foods, huh?
Hey, listen, you might be able to. I've had teammates that were able to just. I mean, Ocho Cinco, he's literally a McDonald's commercial, and he's maybe the most fit human of all time at this point. I'm told that'll kill me, and I'll gain 500 pounds. I don't know what's true. I don't know what's right anymore at this age. With the new offenses, Tony, with the new offenses, okay? RPOs, everything like that. You've kind of come up through that entire era, right? It's like old school linebackers. Whenever the RPOs kind of got introduced, it was like, oh, this isn't football. Like the linemen are leaving. How are we supposed to do whatever? They're dropping it behind. Is that kind of? I feel like that's an advantage for the younger linebackers that you've kind of been, you know, kind of burst in this RPO offense since high school, almost into college, and now it's definitely in the NFL game.
1000%. I mean, playing in it, and I played offense in high school. I had to play in it. I had to play against it. It was just a lot of it's up pace. Football's up pace compared to what it was back in the day, in my opinion.
You grew up in Vegas. How was that? Pretty cool.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. I mean, I didn't really get out a lot. My pops kept me tamed.
He's gonna have
kept
to
me light. He had shackles on me.
Yeah,
too much.
That's smart. You're gonna go do Vegas, your hometown, whenever you get a bag one time, and you're going to be like, oh, this is why my dad kept the shackles on me. Yeah, that's a good time. Right. Hey, good luck in the draft. We appreciate your time. Thanks for your service at West Virginia. You're a hell of a ball player, Tony.
Yes, sir. I appreciate you for having me.
Ladies and gentlemen, Tony Fields II. Tone's a good name.
It is a good name. Great name.
Tone's a great nickname. I like him. I like him a lot, AJ.
So you could tell he cares about football. Like
Yeah.
He wants to play. He doesn't care about all the other stuff.
By the way, that was exactly what the thing said. Small size could limit him on hitting or whatever. It's like Buda Baker kills people.
Yeah, I think it's.
Go ahead.
I think when they talk about linebackers and their size, if they want to bring up possible like durability issues, if you're like 220 pounds, they may say, hey, you might not make it through the season. But that's all like on an individual basis. But no, like the game is, as he said, the game is spread out, RPOs, tackle in space. Like you need to be able to move.
Now, to be fair, if Patrick Ricard turns the corner on somebody who's potentially not 270, there's a chance you're going to have to eat that. You know what I mean? That is the football. And by the way, you eating that block is actually your job on that play. So it's like, I guess you could shed and blow up Patrick Ricard or some other fullback. Maybe, I guess Sherman's retired, Juice or whatever, or anybody that's going to do that. But the game is so different now.
And there aren't as many fullbacks and big guys like that. Like, wouldn't you rather have a dude who is smaller, who can move sideline to sideline and cover, these slot receivers who are, evolving the game?
He'd be good at the Packers, huh? The Packers.
Yeah, he probably would.
For sure. Well, and that's what I was curious. Like, I don't know where he's projected to go, but like a guy going into the draft like that, like, what do you think his agent, like, where is he expecting to go, you think? Like, if he's not a first-round pick, like.
I have no idea. I tried to do as much research as possible, but I didn't get to any part that said where he was projected. I have no clue.
Like, do you think he's thinking that, like, okay, I might go in the second round, but then he's got some people telling him, like, well, it actually might not be until like the fourth round, or like, I just feel like if you're not like a first round pick in these mock drafts or wherever, it's just like you really have no idea where these guys are going to end up going.
I'm trying to see if we have the Indianapolis studio connected right now to us. Do we have that right now, Zito?
Technically, no.
No, we do not.
Technically
no.
What?
What's that? Oh, so we can't have AJ and the boys. We got to switch the computers.
Okay.
Computers around.
Of course, I would have never. So after the break, we'll potentially do that. Okay, that's good news. So the boys will close out hour 3 here. What were you going to say?
What do you think they were looking for from that if you were the last person on Earth? Like, yeah, I'd restart the NFL.
Yeah,
I'd do
I'd
it
play
all on
football.
my own.
I'd say.
Yeah.
That's
I know.
What's that, AJ?
Don't you think you would have to mess with them? I think I'd be like, okay, so in this hypothetical, I'm the last person on Earth, and they said yes. I'd be like, okay, well then I executed my plan to kill every other person on the planet, and then just see what they say. Like, with your stupid hypothetical question that would never happen, I'm gonna give you an answer just as stupid.
What a fucking answer! By the way, that's number 5 overall pick.
Uh-huh.
When he's going through his
I
questions, when he's going through his questions, number 5 overall pick. Well, you're the last person on. Was I the number 5 overall pick? Was I rich? I don't give a fuck, dude.
Nope.
I'm playing football. I just killed everybody. I don't know. Get out of here. I would assume with other people that potentially, aren't college football national champions.
No. I
Under Armour faces.
I don't claim. Listen, I don't claim that I would have had the balls to do that.
Oh, okay.
I'm just saying it would be awesome to see somebody do that and see like if I was a coach or a scout, I'd be like, okay, I don't care where he's projected. I'm taking this.
If this guy got so upset about the dumbass question and just decided to bury it completely in front of us, probably a guy we would like to have on our team. Probably a guy. But him saying that's a tough question, really, I think that is potentially what they were looking for, is like, okay, how do you digest something here that is absurd? That Last Man on Earth show, it was pretty good there for a season, right?
Yep.
I think it had a good season.
Mm-hmm.
Then they went to another season, I think, and they kind of ran.
Yeah, it stuck around for a little bit, but yeah, the first season of that was incredible.
Awesome television down there. All right, let's get to a break. We'll answer some phone calls, clean up, or to finish hour 3 here. The boys in Indianapolis, I'm sure they have had some thoughts on how this show has gone. I can't wait to hear that. AJ, did you tweet out your guess yet?
I have not tweeted it out yet.
Oh, it's because you don't know. You still don't know.
I do not know.
No, but you still don't. You have like 7. You gave 7 guesses whenever we started talking about this about an hour and 10 minutes ago. You still don't know which one's your best one. Good news for you, though. You can put them all out there.
That's right.
Here we go.
I can. Oh, I can put more than one guess out?
A limit is 10.
Okay.
But
I think we're safe. I'm not going to hit the max.
Well, if you do, by the way, and you maybe put 20, we are not going to count.
No.
But you got to be descriptive. I cannot stress that enough.
What does that mean?
You know what it means?
It means you can't give some Mickey Mouse answer and
And
think you're going
expect
to
to
walk
win.
into 7,500.
Yeah, it's not going to happen. You got to be like, this is happening. You know what I mean? That's why you got 10 guesses. Hey, listen. There's going to be ties because there's going to be a very descriptive answer we're going to search for. It's not going to be there. We're going to take one word out, or one factoid or stat out. Right. Then all of a sudden it's going to go to whittle down. It's going to go, okay, who was first then? Who got in? So what you're doing right now, AJ, is potentially wasting time that is going to lose you $7,500. This is just like Will Zalatoris, who realized too late that he was one shot away from the promotion from the Korn Ferry Tour. Yep. But don't you worry, Will Zalatoris, because you're going to come around coming second in the Masters, then a week later, dominate a golf course and win that thing and get your PGA card. He is killing right now, AJ. Did you hear that?
I heard you say that. What tournament is going on right now?
It's the AMC movie theaters are back.
RBC Heritage Open.
RBC.
AMC should put on a golf. I mean,
especially now, just
what do we
everybody
do?
hold in a line and watching these boys slaying golf balls all over the yard. We got to get to a break. This is the Pat McAfee Show, Thursday, April 15th. We're back on the other side with your phone calls. 1-888-MAD-DOG-6. Get your entries in. Try to win some money. Let's have a great Thursday. We'll see you in 4 minutes.
I'm up to something.
Coming live from the heartland, USA, where dreams go to die and your friends get sent away. Working to survive 9 to 5 every day. Spend your paycheck up at Walmart and Chick-fil-A. Pull up in a Honda, baby, we ain't got the top down. Parking lot at Taco Bell, I need a mouse sauce now. You asking a lot of questions, looking like a cop now. Eat your chicken quesadilla, baby girl, and calm down. Who that? Country boy with the flow, that's me. That's me. My rock, cowboy boots, and Supreme.
Hey, Jet fans, your boy Stink, and allow me once again to be the bigger person. You guys just can't graciously accept my heartfelt and sincere apology. No, you got to come after me on Twitter like a bunch of yipping dogs. Yeah. And I could continue to go along smacking you down one by one, but it dawned on me it's not a fair fight, right? Because you guys don't know how to talk smack because you've never won anything. So I want to give you some rules of engagement for Twitter. Okay, number one, let's not talk about the lack of other people's championships. Come on, seriously. I mean, I was dispensing justice and winning back-to-back championships before most of you guys were an itch in your daddy's pants. And the last time the Jets were relevant, your dad wasn't an itch in your granddaddy's pants. So stop. Number two, guys, let's not talk about the lack of success of other teams' quarterbacks when you guys haven't produced a quarterback worth a squirt of piss since Joe Willie Namath. Number three, if you're going to poke the bear, you can't cry victim when the bear bites back, guys. Just hike up your big boy panties and take your L, okay? And then lastly, the national media and the National Football League do not have a bias against your football team. Guys, you don't think we're all capitalists? Come on. You don't think we want the teams in the greatest city in America, the Big Apple, to be successful? When the national media says that your team sucks, that's not bias. That's just simply reporting the news. My good friend Jerome Bettis used to say this all the time, and I concur with his assessment. If everywhere you go it smells like shit, it's probably you. I hope you guys found this helpful. Have a great day.
Every day is game day for these guys. It's showtime on the Pat McAfee Show.
Welcome back to that show. This song's called 6 in the Morning by Alonzo. I believe there is an echo in the back of. No, still here. We're good.
6 in the morning, you said?
By Alonzo with 2 C's. Indianapolis kid.
Okay. Just about when you went to bed today.
Kind of, though, but I was, by that point, I was like, might as well.
Yeah.
Just stay up. Look at this. I think he's talking about making love, isn't he?
I think he is.
He's talking about boning in the morning. Isn't
Yep.
he? Is. He's talking about little wake up, fornicate sesh, go about your day. I think he's thinking about maybe getting a workout in too, like The Rock. You know what I mean? Like early in the morning, and then maybe at 9 holes.
Wahlberg.
6 in the morning, we're fucking. 6:03, I'm golfing. Shout out to Alonzo, 6 in the morning, man. Great song. We've been spoiling the shit out of our dogs, haven't we, with BarkBox?
Oh, yeah. All the time.
And now that we are all, I don't know. We'll read that one later. First line wasn't fantastic, so I'm gonna have to.
Can't do it.
Gonna have to give that one a go a little bit later. Just know BarkBox is awesome.
It is.
The boys are back in Indianapolis via audio. We cannot get the video to work, fellas. How is everything? Because we do have 6 computers down here, but I believe the tech is somehow not built for another FaceTime at the moment. Zito will code that in, though, over the next couple of days. Boys, how do you think the show has gone back there in Indianapolis, Indiana? We have missed you in person down here.
Thanks, Pat. Everything was going gangbusters up until that ad read, it sounds like.
Yeah, and things have really been going pretty smooth. I mean, we've been spoiling the shit out of our dogs with BarkBox, and now that we're all and now that we're all cool here.
Cool here?
So we've been spoiling the shit out of our dogs with BarkBox, and now that we're all cool here, I can let you know that they have the dankest collection of Fur 20 toys.
Ooh.
Okay, so I didn't even get to that. I did not know they. Okay, so I was wrong early there. That's on me. Hey, Nick, thanks for making me go back to this, actually. I feel like Nick had faith in this and didn't want me to give up on it as early. They have Fur 20 toys for pups who crave a real primo playtime. Ooh. Squeakers, crinkle, plush, treat dispensers. We've got all the strains to get your dog fired up. Missing that sweet BarkBox high? We've got the hookup. Sign up today and your first box will be packed with Farmer Jared's latest batch. Fresh toys, dank noms, and 100% legal fun. Okay. Epic toys are available in the Bud Hans collection, like the Lickety Spliff and the Big Ripper. Our 420 inspired toys sold out so fast last year, they are expected to do so again this year, probably within 72 hours, they say.
Okay.
So these are toys.
Yes, for your pup.
These are not treats. Because in there I was starting to read, like, are they just feeding my dog some sativa?
Dank noms.
And how is this legal? I was like, how come Val and I have not been high together? You know, I was wondering, it's 420 themed toys for your dog. I do believe.
Here we go.
Fur 20 toys. When you go to barkbox.com/Pat420 and get these 420 inspired toys while supplies last, they will sell out. Last year they sold out. I would assume my wife Samantha is buying a couple of these right now. barkbox.com/PAT, the number 4, the number 2, and the number 0. Shout out to BarkBox. Mr. Pile. Diggs, anything we should know about for Hammer Down coming at 4 o'clock? You guys got any locks for us? Are we making any money back there?
Yeah, I do have a lock, and there was odds on Trevor Lawrence to go number 1 in the NFL draft at minus 20,000. I'm taking someone else at this point because on my board, he's gone after the comments on Sports Illustrated. He's off of my draft board. I ain't drafting that guy if he doesn't care about winning a Super Bowl. So I think there's value with the number 1 pick going to the Jags now.
I wish we had a picture of COVID Cowboy that could have been displayed on the screen, because I feel like with what he was saying, me and AJ are potentially going to get, associated alongside.
Right. Mm-hmm.
People need to know that was the COVID Cowboy. That was not AJ Hawk and I, if you're watching on youtube.com/The Pat McAfee Show. AJ, good point there, Diggs. And there are people that are going to feel that way, by the way. That was interesting, those things. And the reason why it was interesting is because you just think about, like, what if Zach Wilson said that? Like, everybody yesterday was like, what if Justin Fields said that? Well, he would get buried. But what if Zach Wilson said that? Especially with how we've heard that his dad is maybe one of the most successful people that immediately upon going into the NFL and everything. It's interesting because Trevor Lawrence has always been the guy. Everybody just is like, yeah, he has a different perspective than everybody else. This guy's been the top of the mountain forever. But there are going to be people that are like, I want this guy to be able and want to potentially cut his penis off to win a Super Bowl. And that is not what he said in that Sports Illustrated, AJ.
Well, it's so different than what we're used to hearing, especially coming off Tom Brady winning the Super Bowl at age 43 when, like, Tom Brady's dad comes out, doesn't he? And he said multiple times, like, I don't know what Tom's going to do when he's done playing. Like, Tom loves football so much. This is what he needs, and he thrives. And then we hear Trevor Lawrence say something like that, or his parents or coach that he could walk away and be fine. So I think it's a bit jarring for people to hear.
Right there in the middle of that, you talking, by the way, Zito did a no-look volume adjust while trying to build something over here.
Man.
It was magnificent to watch. It's very impressive. But you're right. I took it as like almost a refreshing take, you know?
Yeah.
I took it as almost like, okay, so there's a guy that isn't the only one in the NFL that feels the way he feels. But nobody ever hears that because what you hear is always the canned whatever, which is a guy who's potentially interviewing for a job. That is what you're going to do in every job interview. You're going to say what you think they want to hear, and it necessarily isn't true or whatever. Him just being the number one quarterback since he's like, 11 years old, basically. He's like, yeah, listen, all right, I don't have that chips on my. To be honest, I've beat everybody everywhere I've ever gone. Yeah. It's not like anybody's ever said I'm not great, by the way. I'm a noted great leader. I mean, it's documented. I was a part of bringing back football alongside Justin Fields and other people, and I win all the time. I'm tall. I'm athletic. I can throw. Yeah, like, I'm going to fucking do what I do. But this is not like this is not a life or death situation for me at all. I respect how refreshing of an answer that is. But, man, if that was anybody other than a guy who's been the number one guy, like Andrew Luck was since 8th grade, that would be a crucified statement and idea. What do you got, Connor?
Well, and Jordan Palmer said it. He was like, look, this guy's been the face of college football for 3 years. Him going to the Jags is almost a step down from what he was doing.
Pressure-wise.
Yeah, pressure-wise.
Yeah.
But, like, even that mindset is like, okay, obviously you views it a little differently than everyone else.
Everything Trevor Lawrence has done, and Jordan mentioned this, right? Jordan mentioned this. Everything Jordan Palmer said this. Everything Trevor Lawrence has done his entire life has been scrutinized, has been watched, has been recorded, has been seen. He's the most mature. Now, Sam Darnold's the oldest 23-year-old of all time.
Ever. Yep.
In the NFL's history, the oldest 20. He said he wants to play 20 years, I think, for the Panthers or something like that, or he said he wanted to play 20 years for the Jets or whatever. He still has 17 more years he could potentially be with the Panthers if this whole thing works out legitimately, if he is anywhere near a somewhat, now he had mono, but if he's anywhere near a somewhat healthy quarterback, he could play for at least another 17 years in a second stop that he goes to. But Trevor Lawrence has been able to handle this, the maturity, the fact that he still plays, by the way. He could potentially get a burnout from this whole thing. I think Jacksonville's getting a good one, but I think it is bullshit they gave him the playbook.
Yeah, is that so? Can any team give any player their playbook right now? Obviously, it makes sense. You're taking Trevor, you want to give it to him. Other teams aren't going to do that for people they might not get. But I haven't. Does this happen? Like, is this a normal thing?
I have not. By the way, there's some Jacksonville Jaguar fans down there in Duval down there that were very upset with me because they thought I was very serious in saying kick them out of the league. You know what I mean? Because they're doing this, kick them out. I'm obviously not being serious, but that means they're locked in on Trevor Lawrence. You're not just going to give your entire playbook to somebody that's going to potentially get drafted somewhere else. So as soon as Trevor Lawrence gets that, was it an e-file you think that came through?
Yeah, probably.
You think it was a download?
PDFs.
You think it was a PDF? Whatever. As soon as that thing gets into his head, he's like, okay, so if they were to do this, yeah, I'm the captain now. There's nothing. Not that there was any question. I assume Trevor never had any question.
No.
But that's like by the way, this one, your shoulder surgery is going to be, here's your playbook. Act accordingly. You're a Jacksonville Jaguar now. Congratulations. Urban Meyer shaking his hands or whatever. Now, that two is Justin going to go two, AJ?
It looks like it's a possibility right now. I mean, we've been talking that Zach Wilson is absolutely guaranteed going to be number 2, but like we said before, who knows? Like, I have no clue.
Let's go through some other headlines around the sports world today. We'll stay in the quarterback vein of things. Jim McMahon, worldwide renowned Chicago Bear quarterback. When you think of the Chicago Bears, you think Ditka, Urlacher, Jim McMahon, and Chris Farley and the boys.
There it is.
That's literally what you think of, okay? Jim McMahon came out and said, Chicago is where quarterbacks go to die. And he says the Packers are the best organization he ever played for. Now, transparency is a must. I had no fucking idea this guy played for the Packers.
Oh, yeah.
He loved it, obviously, at this point. What a shot at the Bears. Is this the current organization of the Bears, you think? Or does he think of the entire history of the Bears? What do you think, Ty?
I think he's taking a shot at the entire history of the Bears.
I think it's potentially Pace Nagy's shot. Don't you think maybe, AJ?
I think it's a shot at them, but it's also a shot at the organization when he was there. If he had an unbelievable experience and feels like they do that, that they'll develop QBs, then he probably wouldn't have said this. I've been around Jimmy, man. He is awesome. Obviously.
I only got to see him operate a room one time. And it was at the College Football Award Show. He had sunglasses on, no socks. I think he was barefoot maybe. Oh. And he was just rocking the room. And it was upbeat. Everywhere he went, electricity seemed to follow. And I was like, damn, that guy is doing it over there. Now, he got into a beef with the commissioner, right? Who was the commissioner at the time?
Rozelle? Was that the headband?
Yeah. So he wanted a champion headband or something like that. Rozelle said he couldn't. So then he immediately gets into a public spat with the commissioner of the NFL at the time. And he was so good it did not matter. That is just, I've heard legendary stories about him doing things and going places and all that. And I guess football has caught up to him here at his old age. That's why he has to wear the sunglasses and everything like that. But, man, the Chicago Bears fans had to wake up this morning and go, well, what the fuck? We thought you were our guy. Nah, I hate that. Sunglasses on, sunglasses off, barefoot, sandals, flippy flops, shoes. Chicago Bears stink. That was awesome just to come out of nowhere. Stinks for Bears fans, but that was awesome.
His sunglasses were something happened when he was a kid, whether he got poked with a fork or he had some kind of nerve damage, whatever it is. The glasses, you see, he looked awesome when he was in the Packers with that super dark tinted shield. Yeah. You can't get away with that unless you do have some eye issues.
Yeah, therapeutic exemption. I don't know if that was the same rule as back in the day because guys used to have mirrors on as shields. You remember that? Did you have any teammates that wanted any like incredibly obnoxious shields that you knew there was no way they could see through? And it was that has to get therapeutically exempted or whatever. They get tell them it helps my eyes.
It's impossible.
It's impossible to see with those things.
I don't know how you see. I wore a clear visor for like one period when I was in college, and I felt like it was making me. I was like dizzy. I felt like I had vertigo because the curvature and everything. You really have to get used to it.
And also when you're breathing, it's heating up. Mm-hmm. It gets a little foggy, and I like to be perfectly clear. Like anybody that catches a ball likes to have great vision with that whole thing. It does up the swag, though. I remember I think I had a visor for one practice as well, and I just went out. It was just strictly. It was OTAs. It was just strictly to get a pop, out of some people. And I think my lower bar was too low, so the shield actually was above it. It was almost like there was a space in between that thing. And I was doing it just as like a joke, obviously, to get a little bit of a reaction, a little bit of juice. I couldn't see a fucking thing. I mean, I almost missed the ball. I had my worst period of all time. The amount of shit that was talked to me by everybody. And then the equipment managers, I wasted their time putting it on. They had to take it off. I was like, I am so sorry in this whole thing. They've struck down on the rules on those things and everything.
It's not as popular anymore either, is it?
Rules.
I feel like, 10 years ago, damn near everyone was wearing them.
The rules is the rules. They did not want anybody wearing those, I don't think.
It's not just like you can't just have any old eye doctor sign up. It has to be like an NFL person, I think. I've watched guys try to go through the process to get it, like to be able to wear some kind of tinted visor. They made it super difficult.
And I think it has to be like two.
Yeah, there's no like you can't really get around it. It seems like you pretty much have to really have an issue to actually wear a tinted visor.
That's like the people who do the therapeutic exemption for Adderall. Mm-hmm. After experiencing Adderall, I think I maybe potentially, maybe play quarterback in the NFL.
Yeah.
If I would have taken it while I was.
How big's your neck? Is your neck big enough?
By the way, a lot of discussion off air about that whole thing. It has to be the base, right? It would have to be like
that would be your traps too.
Yeah.
Maybe centimeters. I mean, maybe not inches.
And by the way, maybe
Okay?
the analytics person didn't know that there's potentially different measures. This person didn't ever lifted the neck probably ever in their life. Did not even know what that meant. Maybe centimeters, you think? I don't think it said
Not
that.
centimeters.
Who knows what
26
measurements?
centimeters.
I don't know what that
It's
is.
not
What's
a
that?
fucking ant playing quarterback.
It might be.
Thrown for 90,000. But anyways, Peyton Manning, 25 inches, whatever it was.
Hey, look at the graph, okay?
Whatever it was. This
No
is-
way. There's no way. There's not a 25-inch neck quarterback in the NFL.
Is there a 25-inch neck person?
I don't think so.
Well,
look up.
It's funny
I don't
because
think-
right as I walked into the hallway here, Tim said, "Ain't nobody got a fucking 25-inch neck." It was the first thing he said. So
let's go to
linemen. D linemen don't have 25-inch necks.
Jeez, let's go to some phone calls, shall we? Let's go to Landon down there in Texas. Allegedly, via a tweet that we did not verify, Texas is potentially on the fast track to sports gambling legalship because of opportunities being seen in states that are near to Texas. This sports gambling thing, I believe the projections are going to be shown to be very off. I think it all has got sped up massively with the entire COVID thing, the way they're selling it to themselves. Although I thought marijuana would potentially be on the same thing. I think the sports gambling thing, the way the olds that are potentially in charge that didn't have the first impression like they had with marijuana and why they hate it so bad, the first impression, which has been scientifically proven to be absolutely false and everything like that. The reason why I think they're so slow with that in all sports gambling is because there's no lobbyists, I don't think, coming out of like marijuana's got who? Pharma, they got tobacco, they got alcohol, they got big lobbyists going against everything that is marijuana. Sports gambling, I think the only people that are against it are potentially the tribes that own the casinos or whatever in states. So I think that's why it's going to get expedited because they know the money, they know what can happen. And also, I'm not sure there's that many enemies of sports gambling at this particular time, AJ.
Yeah, there's not like how does it work? So there's a casino in Columbus. I don't think it's not on a reservation. Would they push back against having online gambling?
No, I don't think so. They would just have to see what the check. They're going to have to get paid, I think, or they're going to have to pay. I think what happens actually is the casino owners. Now, this is not. Listen, everybody knows that I should not speak about some things like this, but I do think I know a little bit about this because I have pressed for Ohio. Because if Ohio was to get into sports gambling, it'd be great for our business, our partnership with FanDuel. We have a lot of listeners that would be a lot of fun to win money alongside in Ohio. Texas is a big state for us. So so I've always asked hey, how come this shit can't happen? Indiana's one of the slowest states of all time. Couldn't buy beer on Sunday until a couple years ago. How's this go through? And they say, well, it depends on which state it is. In a lot of places though, the people that are in charge, they potentially have money coming to them or potential business relationships that could be greatly affected if sports gambling was to get in there. So I'm not saying that potentially the owners of that casino who aren't Native American owned or whatever, they probably have the reason why they got a casino license is probably because they have some sort of connection and they might be against it because people will be able to sit at home on their phones and do pretty much exactly what they do in a casino. And that is going to affect a lot of people that probably have a big mouthpiece in the political process of a lot of states.
Yeah, so do places like FanDuel then just have to pay like a royalty fee on whatever they bring into these places?
I would assume there's a lot of people that are involved in this whole thing. Like for instance, Arizona announced that they're going to give up 20 different mobile sports books are going to be allowed. I don't know if that's for the next 30 years or if that's immediately upon jump because I don't even know if there is 20 or whatever. I think Arizona was like, hey, if you want to be a mobile sports book, but everywhere else there's like some people get in and some people wait. It takes I think Tennessee FanDuel was either in first or it took a little bit to get in or New Jersey or somewhere. There was a place where other people were able to get in there and FanDuel wasn't. And then they eventually got in there and it's because there's like a full, we got to negotiate what it's going to be and this and that. And there's friend and relation. It's big business right now, and there's a lot of bullshit happening behind the scenes.
And some places, like I know Michigan, when Foxy went up there, he was saying you could go on to the FanDuel app and link it to a casino and play like all those types of games. So some casinos could partner up with the online betting too.
And what you're saying there about the partnership in Illinois, you were able to download FanDuel onto your phone and gamble on mobile sportsbook on the most convenient one, FanDuel. And then they shut that down. You were no longer allowed to. You're allowed to still gamble mobily, but to get the app, you have to go to a casino. So this is the casino people saying, hey, we need them to at least get back into our buildings because we got to at least track these people. So that happened. That was a variance that got passed in the law because I would assume some people lost some money. They're like, whoa, they need to get their fucking asses back in these casinos. They want to do that.
Well, I know how much like red tape and how many years it takes to even get a casino built. I think the one in Columbus, I don't know how many years ago it was built, but I do remember all the hearing people's opinions, people that wanted it here, people that didn't want it here. So I'm thinking the people behind the scenes that made it happen, that had to be like 20 years in the making to finally do it. And then people have to vote on it. It has to get passed. Like what a giant amount of work. It just shows you how much money that they can possibly bring in.
To be honest, I don't think the voting even matters at all.
Yeah, but what if it gets voted down? Then they can't build it.
I think if they're getting enough money, it won't get voted down. This is just like the marijuana licenses in these states. Like you're allowed to recreationally smoke or whatever. So if you want to get into that business, it's like, oh, I'd like to get into that business. It's like, okay, can I just start one up? They're like, well, you actually got to go to the government and you got to get okayed. And it's like, well, who's getting okayed? Well, only 3 people are getting okayed for the entire state right now. It's like, well, who are those people? Well, it happens to be... So now there's an entire different, you know what I mean? There's so much bullshit, man. It feels like there's
so much give and take behind the scenes. It's a big political move.
Yep, a lot of politicking.
The more I learn, the less I understand.
Yeah.
Let's go to Brandon in Michigan, or I'm sorry, Landon in Texas.
Bitcoin.
Hey, it's going to moon.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but does anyone truly understand it?
Yeah, I do. I watched a documentary on it. You should see how it's blockchain, dude. It's going to continually build. Every single transaction builds on top of itself, so it never could be hacked or anything like that because it's also stored in computers that are in the bottom of mountains in random spots like it's Area 51, dude.
That's right.
So don't you worry about it. Let's go to Landon in Texas. You're the one that started this entire conversation. We appreciate you, pal. What do you want to talk about?
Hey, Pat, AJ, and the boys.
Crystal
How's it
clear.
going?
It sounds so good.
Wow.
It sounds so much better than it does in the office studio.
Unbelievable.
I don't know how Zito did this.
Me neither.
Timeline was here. Then he was told, it's here. Sounds better, looks better than anything we have back in the office. Unfucking believable. Zito to McAfee.
Wow.
And grunt CFO Phil.
Yeah.
What do you want to talk about, Landon?
All right, Pat.
By the way, not a lot of CFOs are doing that. Just as soon as we walked in here yesterday, we had a power drill over here, making the loudest shriek in the history of shrieks. He built this entire CFO was getting his hands. We appreciate you, Phil. He then made one of the worst decisions of all time.
Yeah.
But he has a hell of a beard.
Hell of a
right
beard.
now.
Hell of a beard. What are you? Sorry, Landon, I cut you off twice there, but you have really generated a lot of conversation. So we appreciate what you've already given to us. What do you want to talk about?
Hey, no worries. Yeah, I had a question about your NFL body.
There's many of them.
So, whenever someone, practices a physical movement hundreds and hundreds of times, it really shows on the body. For example, you look at Roy Jones Jr., you see a noticeable difference between his left and right arm from, the practice of his monster fucking left hook. And then similarly, you look at Boston Connor and you notice his right arm is a lot bigger than his left for whatever reason. And so, Pat, when you were, moonshotting balls in the NFL, did you ever have a time where you tried on a pair of jorts or something and you just found that it was a little tighter on the right side more than the left?
Thank you for your question, Landon. Yeah, my right thigh was noticeably bigger than my left. It was pretty cool. I enjoyed it. The only people that really talk shit to me about it were bodybuilders, and they try to do the mirror look on both sides. They're like, yeah, it's embarrassing what you got there. It's like, well, just know that this own bitch can get you. This one ain't worth a damn. All right, you see it. You see it. We all see it. This one ain't worth a damn. It's called the peg. This one here, though, this one does some damage. AJ, did you change your body style throughout the NFL, or did you remain the same? Oh, because guys do change. Like, for instance, other sport. LeBron used to be a big body, then he got to a thin body, and there's guys that transform themselves. Have you done any of that?
Well, I came in the league at 246. I was heavy. I was big.
Heavy,
and that's when most every team had a fullback too, taking on Lorenzo Neal and guys like that every single week. And then I my last 5 years, I was like 235, 232. So yeah, I definitely I think as you get older, sometimes it's smart to get a little bit smaller, and also the game was changing too.
And also, I think as you get older, you get much more healthy. You know,
and guys let it slip away. I listened to a guy that's been a GM in the league who played. He's like, hey, every year he said he gained, like, he didn't even know it. He was gaining like 2 pounds a year. He's like, by my 10th year, I'm 20 pounds heavier, and I didn't even know it barely.
Really? See, for me, it was just whether or not I was getting lazy or not, if I would gain weight. But it was, I think towards the end of my career, I was much more healthy. And I felt like I was, I finally got to the maturity level that was like, okay, you can't just abuse every organ in your body and be the best you could possibly be. And
it's a natural progression. It's a natural progression. I think a lot of people that aren't even in sports go through that same thing.
I mean, every organ you talk about was getting slaughtered for me while I was in the NFL.
All of them.
All of them. Every one of them. Including the brain. You should see what the brain was getting. Let's get some phone calls here. Justin in California. What's going on, Justin? California is never going to get it, from what I've been told, by the way.
Right, not.
It's a lot of.
Really?
That's what I've been told. It would be great for us.
They could use the money. They could absolutely use that extra income.
Yeah, you're right. Everybody could, I think, at this point. What do you want to talk about, brother?
Hey, Pat, AJ. I'm a big Chargers fan here. We rebuilt our entire offensive line through free agency and trades this offseason, being Ode Abushi from the Lions, Matt Filer from the Steelers, and obviously Lindsey from the Packers. That puts Lindsey and Bulaga both from the Packers in the last 2 years.
He's just learning.
So I wanted to ask the boys what their opinion on those signings were and if they're actually going to be missed in their old teams.
Great question, Justin. Yes, Lindsley will be missed. He's very good. Now, you guys had a great center as well in Pouncey. He's very good, but that is a position that is very, very, very important, and I think you got it right. I was very surprised, actually, that Green Bay let him go. I think a lot of people were.
Mm-hmm. I think they knew that they almost weren't going to be able to afford him, which they could have, I guess. But we thought maybe that means they're going to make some other moves, but they didn't.
Hey, we missed something the other day when we were talking to Ian Rappaport.
What happened?
Ian Rappaport told us that they wanted to give him, Aaron, a signing bonus salary cap transfer thing, and Aaron was like, let's do an extension. He said that to us, and we just completely bypassed it because by the end of it, he said, there's only 1 year left to guarantee, so it seems like everybody has questions. I don't know if Ian's right on it, but it seems like that is kind of news, and we just let it slip right by. Want to let you know we had a lot on our plate. I'm up to something.
Yeah.
I do apologize for that. I hope you get into that game. Use hashtag Pat's up to something. You could potentially win $7,500. Be descriptive on what you think news will be dropping here soon. This has been the Pat McAfee Show. Chris Mad Dog Russo with Mad Dog Unleashed is next. Now, sorry, AJ, the clock is in a different spot, and I forgot we're running out of time here.
All good with me. You didn't have to do your fake thing. What do you got? You got anything to button up the show?
It's not a fake thing. It's a real thing. Your fake shit is what you do in response to that.
Clown.
Clown.
Indy, are you guys still back in Indy right now?
Oh, yeah.
Boys, you should fucking see this shit that Zito put together down here. Oh!
Hey, Andy figured the FaceTime out.
Hey, what's going on? Can you, hey, Diggs, we got to remain socially distant. Because I assume two people are sitting at the toxic table as well? Is that a camera angle? Can you cut to that camera angle, Mitt?
Kind of. Too small. We got Nick and Gump.
Ooh, Mitt.
Wow.
Okay, I do like the fact that you had to set 3 different cameras there. So I appreciate you knowing how to do that and actually executing that. Like I do think that is pretty impressive. But don't you think if we just had one shot that had the most amount of people in it, it would have been best? And this is something I should have said. I understand. Is there a way we could have done that, or do you think with the sizing of it we couldn't do that, Mitt?
We can try it right now, actually, but I will have to switch some stuff up.
Gump, you look good there, though. Hey, Gump, you look good in the tight zoom in. You know what I mean?
Hey, shout out AJ not wanting to help any of these college kids.
You heard it, Gump. I tried to help him. I didn't get to jump in and tell him what his answer could have been there.
Bro,
And shout out you guys.
Go ahead.
Shout out you guys for not revealing that Zito does have a 25-inch neck.
Jeez. Get a tape measure out. Let's see.
Come
That's a That's the ultimate compliment. Z. Do not feel bad about it. That's a compliment.
That is
There's quite a difference, AJ. There's quite a difference between the mass on your neck and on Zeke's neck.
If you assholes could have seen what Zito has accomplished, I'm staring at no less than 300 wires.
Yeah.
They are, and you know how they are. It's a Zito production.
It's a rat's nest.
They are everywhere, and this has somehow gone off without a hitch. I think maybe the LED board at one point, but we got that fixed.
Zeta ain't running that either.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
The calls. I mean, how clear were the calls today?
The calls were unbelievable. Now the mimic computer screen thing, it did start to freeze up there at the end. I couldn't really drag it, but that's the
one in Indy.
The hardware. No, it's the hardware.
Yeah, remind me tomorrow.
That I'm using to do the thing, to actually mimic the thing that was kind of freezing up. There is no way this show should have gone like this. There's no way in hell. Last night, we got here pretty late. Okay, pretty late. Had an early meeting. Zito, full sweat, phone calls, trips to stores potentially that were out of town. Like there was a lot that was going on. It felt like Zito was, a little bit worried. Then as the night continued, it got later and later and later. Zito kind of hopped down in the pool that we have here, and it seemed like, Zito's a little bit relaxed now. This must feel pretty good. So I asked him, I'm like, Zito, how we doing, you think? He said, well, we hope that it'll work the same way it did tonight, tomorrow. We obviously hope that'll happen, but there is a chance none of it will work tomorrow. And I was like, so we are nowhere. Basically, we have to, and he just wanted this whole thing. And then when I woke up this morning, went to the meeting, there was changes made while I was gone, and then I came back. And then when we sat down to go live, it wasn't until I did that I fully comprehended how many wires with how many computers, with how many cameras, with how many microphones we have, with how many call switches we have to have for Sirius. There is 300. It appears that there's 400 to 500 wires just right below Zito's feet right now, and he's just sitting above it, and the whole thing's just working. It's like he's almost like the king of wires. Zito, what you have accomplished here, I assume we will run into problems at some point, but today, unbelievable shit. You do not deserve what Nick and Diggs just did to you.
Job well done, Zeke. We were saying last night, though, could you imagine if a fire marshal were to walk in here and look down at the floor, he'd just say, who the hell did this?
Oh, my God.
It's all, hey, for Zito, it's all fun until whatever that mansion is that you're renting or you bought or whatever, something's going to go wrong. Oh, Zeke, this toilet's not high enough. We got to move houses. And you get a house three doors down. He's got to move the whole house.
By the way, where we are, okay, that is not an option. Nope. First of all, there's not a way to move down the street, okay? And I am not like that at all.
What is that supposed to mean?
Maybe it's a clue. Maybe it's not.
Oh.
I see you brought the same wood from Indy to put up down there.
Did we?
Is it?
Or was that a Tim McAfee production?
Well, yeah, that is. I'm sure Tim did a ton of that work, obviously.
Him and CFO Phil, yeah. They did a lot of it. They were doing it here when we got here last night. It was very loud.
What would you do without Tim?
Well, great question. I would not exist because his ball sack did create me. So whenever you talk about that type of stuff, it's pretty important. You know what I mean? That Tim McAfee is a very fascinating person. He just turned 60, and him and Zito are basically the same people when it comes to getting tasks done. It's like there's no way that is how you're supposed to do it. There's no way that's how they'll teach it. But guess what? Son of a bitch is getting done.
Works. It's done.
The job is getting done. Okay, so when you put Tim McAfee and Zito into a team, into a sphere, you know that you're potentially building a team where there is going to be a lot of question marks on why and how. But at the end of the day, guess what's going to happen? It's going to work. And that is just the tag team that is Zito and Tim that potentially drive around the country together to do stuff like this.
They figure. I think it's an unbelievable trait that they have. Really, everybody has. All the boys. It's like you figure it out. Like there's different things that you have to do, and instead of sitting there like, oh, how do I do this? You just figure it out, and then all of a sudden, bam, you're live in a different studio, who knows where, in an undisclosed location, and it's all set up for you.
It's a lot of fun to go, why though? Why can't we do that? And then that normally goes into a full sit back, I guess we technically could. That is always how this gone. I guess technically we could. Then we'd have to maybe drill a new internet. So, well, how much is it? How much? That's normally about how much is it to potentially get internet drilled into? It's only blah blah. See, I think so. We might do it. So maybe people would say not worth it, but definitely worth it. That is how everything goes, and I'm very, very thankful for everybody in accomplishing this, and very thankful for everybody entering the hashtag Pat's Up to Something contest on Twitter. It was trending #1 there for a while. I'm not sure if it still is. If it is, you guys need to relax, okay? And there is a 10 answer.
Yeah.
There is a 10 entry limit. So fucking relax. No, I'm saying relax. Oh. If we're still at #1, we got to relax, okay?
Ease up.
Maybe nobody gets it right. You know what I'm saying?
Nice. Tested. Little post-show test.
Song's getting in on the action.
Who was that?
Hey, who cut your video together that you put out?
Last night?
Yeah.
Foxy. What do you think?
Good job, Foxy. That was a great hype video.
Thank you.
What are you saying? Foxy normally puts out shit videos?
Certainly sounds like it.
I'm trying to compliment his work.
I'll tell you what, AJ compliments me way too much. I do appreciate it, AJ, but it always ends up the boys burying you at the end of it all.
No.
Hey, Foxy, don't worry about that. We're good. I'm just want to let you know you do a great job. All the rest of the boys, too, they can kill me all they want. I can handle it.
No, we're not killing you. What we just said is it actually went to complete. What Foxy just did there was fucking absurd as well. Come on. It always ends with you getting buried. It was like, no. What I did was the complete opposite, I think, of that.
Listen, no one is fucking feeling sorry for AJ. All right? This guy made $185 million during his NFL career. Like,
let alone his investments in all those companies.
Yeah,
we see those
AJ's
commercials.
doing just fine.
Hey, Pat, also, I'm up to something, too. I'm about to get active on the gram. So
It stinks.
Be alert. Be
On
alert.
Instagram?
Yep.
Instagram stinks, man.
I don't care.
Get active on Twitter.
I will there, too, sure. But, maybe over the next couple of weeks I might.
Now, you've been getting more active on Twitter, and I think you're realizing you're good at Twitter, by the way. And it's good news.
No.
Yeah.
No, strictly, no. It's about, it's not about that.
What's it about?
What is it about then? You're bored? Is that why you're starting to do it more?
No, I'm going to be doing something, nothing big, but I realized my last Instagram post, I think, was for the draft last year. 1 year ago.
Let's go, AJ.
Halloween, AJ.
What'd you say, Gumpy?
AJ and his kids for Halloween.
Oh, Gumpy, just by the way, if you need to find something, Gumpy is
already
that
found
guy.
it.
Okay. As soon as you mentioned your Instagram, Gumpy had that thing up, and he was like, all right, what's he going to want to have? All right, here it is. Gumpy is internet scavenger hunt king of all time.
What did AJ go as? Was he Lurch from the Munsters?
I forget what he was. Had that big old suit on.
What was it? Wait,
Draft
when was
day?
that from? Just a couple years ago?
I don't know. I'm not looking at it. Gumpy
I
is.
have no
I didn't even know you. I'll tag you on Instagram, I think, every time you're on there, and we just kind of think it's a dead account, actually. We just do it as a nice thing, but you should get a little bit more active on the social. You're good.
am.
You're good at it.
I'm going to.
You're
I
going
always
to.
think
Who? Somebody's paying you to be. Are you becoming an influencer? Are you going to be an influencer?
Oh, no, I'm not going to be an influencer, no.
You already are, by the way. People are driving with 2 feet, fucking up everything already.
Making memes about
I
it.
do enjoy the stuff I get about did you send it to me? The girl that drives with her legs crossed?
Oh, yeah, I saw that.
She should reconsider.
That's wrong.
We
That's
need-
wrong. Do not do
Oh,
that.
Take her
what a
license
hero!
away.
What a hero! We do not need that. By the way, that's your team. That is your
I
team.
didn't say cross them. Don't ever cross them like that.
That's your team, though. The 2-footed drivers are a whole team there. You can't just say like this. You can't pick and choose. That is
Do you
your.
have any chance if you cross your left leg over your right? My left leg would be 6 feet short of the gas pedal.
Yeah,
There's no way I
cannot.
would make it.
I cannot get it down there. But there are some.
If you're driving like that, the next thing you're seeing are the jaws of life ripping you out of that thing because you cannot drive if you're trying to drive.
You
like
got to be a naturally reckless person
Yeah.
if you're doing that.
Yeah.
Because you know every time as soon as that leg gets crushed, you're like, oh, it's comfortable. And then you're like, all right, I mean, there's a chance that I end up in a goddamn full pretzel there. But there's some memes that are being made that I like a lot.
About what?
Well, there's one that said when you drive 2 foot, when you push the brake and the gas at the same time, it actually takes a screenshot.
That's good.
Yeah. Yeah.
They're mocking you.
Some great.
They are.
I love how, yeah.
Little pop in the back there from Indy.
Of course. I mean, the boys, they're so over the top at how they get like so angry at me and how they all just lash out. Like that's one of my favorite parts of the show.
Yeah, us too. We enjoy it. We appreciate you playing along, by the way. There are others that have not, and it's a little uncomfortable.
I am going to start getting mad. Better not cross the line, boys. I'll get mad.
Can't wait.
I'll get a text. You'll probably, what you will lead to is texting me telling me about that, and I'll have to do like a full.
That would never happen. There's
Fellas.
nothing that could never happen, by the way.
Fellas, listen. This probably won't happen. The person will probably never be on the show again. But if this person comes on, we have to remember, cannot bury.
Take it easy.
Take it easy. Take it easy. Okay, like a fucking shot. Hey, how do you watch those PG movies? I just thought of him being a child, and I had to watch them last night because the Netflix was restricted in the house that we're currently in. How do you watch those things? You're entertained by those? Is there any that I should potentially...
Why would I be entertained by those?
Well, don't you, isn't that what you got to do? Like, you got to watch with your kid, and that kind of like...
Oh, with your kids, yeah. You got to... Yeah, sometimes it's a bit difficult to watch some of them, but there's some good ones out there. That's why I'm big on, hey, guys, let me show you a cool movie that I've seen. I pull up Chris Farley, Adam Sandler movies.
Smart.
It's also why Pixar crushes, because Pixar likes to play to the kids
and to the adults.
And they play to the parents.
Thunder Force, have you seen it with your kids?
Is that a movie or a show?
Oh,
it's a movie, pal.
Movie.
Thunder Force?
Oh, yeah. Oscar nominee.
Is it?
There was a new one called Raya we watched.
Oh, yeah. Raya and the Last Dragon.
What?
Yep.
Pixar, Disney Plus.
What? You watch these movies, huh?
Oh, Pixar crushes. Look, if it's Pixar, it's go with me.
You know who started Pixar?
Spielberg.
No. Jobs
and Spielberg.
Jobs and Jobs. Steve Jobs.
Jobs.
I believe Steve Jobs. I believe.
Okay.
This is when he got fired from Apple, I think, is when he started Pixar, and then he sold that to Disney, and then he went back to Apple. That guy had to print money, huh?
Yeah, he was smart.
Imagine if he was still around right now. He'd be a trillionaire.
Man. Think about the cars Apple be making.
Oh, if he was around, being able to tell people to go do what he wants.
You think Tesla was cool? Do you see this?
Imagine Elon and Steve just sitting down right across from each other talking about things. Steve would just be like, oh, is that what you're doing? This is what I'm fucking doing. Blah, 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 bury your idea. See you later. And then the alien would be like, oh, yeah? Well, I'm going to go underground real quick, and I'm going to go intergalactic. And Steve Jobs would be like, well, I'm already outside the other solar system, man. I'm already fucking doing it. That would be awesome. We lost Steve Jobs, I think. That guy.
You think?
You don't like Steve Jobs?
No, you said we lost Steve Jobs, I think. Yeah, we knew he died.
No,
right?
like, but we lost out. I'm sorry. We lost out on losing Steve Jobs.
Imagine the rivalry between he and Elon. They would probably be 50 years ahead of where they are now if Steve was alive, because they would just it'd be a pissing contest between the two.
Iron sharpens iron.
Yeah.
Imagine Bezos in there as well. I mean, it would be
your new boss, right? Your new boss, Bezos.
Is that your guess?
What is that? Another guess?
Another?
Hey, Jay.
Almost at 10.
What are you doing? That's not. I mean, yeah, you only got a limit, dude. You're almost at 10.
You asked me to guess. You know, I not once texted you or said anything. Hey, bud, can I get in on it? What's going on? Let me know.
I mean, last night, immediately following the boxing video going out, got a text from AJ that just said, "Nope." That's what you said. I tried to call you to see what that meant. What was the follow-up? You did not answer. You did not follow up until this morning. Then you had a thought-out answer that you gave this morning. And by the way, it has not been one of the ones that he has guessed thus far. Is he potentially trying to bamboozle the listeners and viewers on what his actual thoughts are? Maybe people would have to ask that
The
question.
old bait and switch.
Yep, that's what I'm talking about.
So that's 9 guesses then, including the text guess. Just to be clear here, because, you can't guess 100 times.
Yeah, you're right. There are rules to this thing. We're giving away 7,500. That's like 14 stimulus checks. Let's go to Brandon in Michigan. What's going on, Brandon?
Hey, Pat, AJ, boys. How you doing today?
Sounds like it's great, man. Have no idea how this works.
In the other room. Standing in here.
What do you want to talk about?
Hey, summer's coming. Beaches are open. When you guys going to go to the beach and have Boston Connor stand in the hole and meet A.J. Dillon for Oklahoma?
Hey, good call. And A.J. Dillon has not forgotten about that, by the way. Have you thought about potentially putting on some pounds? Wasn't that going to be your plan?
I mean, why do you think I'm 280 right now? I'm waiting for A.J. Dillon. This is what we've been planning for.
You're 280 pounds right now?
Well, I wouldn't put it on the dot, but we're getting there. That's the goal.
I feel like you've actually been trying to go the other direction. Are you laughing in the face of A.J. Dillon now that you're potentially going to have to stare him down? I don't need to put on weight. I'll go lighter.
I would never laugh in the face of A.J. Dillon and do his TikTok dances ever. But what I'm saying is you do have to plan for this stuff that could happen.
Bro, the sauce, dude. It's going to be quite a scene. We do need to make that happen, AJ.
There's no way. Do you really think A.J. Dillon's going to do that?
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm sure the Packers will sit by and be completely fine.
Oh, yeah, we didn't even think about that.
Yeah, and
because there's a chance Connor, just like in high school, will go hit him late after he's been hit by everybody else and drive him way out of bounds like a personal foul penalty.
Yeah. Onto like a piece of coral or something. Maybe
on the beach, yeah.
I can't do that. Yeah. I can't do that to RB2 in Green Bay. No way.
So are you saying you don't want to do it for the sake of the NFL and for the Green Bay Packers?
I don't want to do it because I don't want my heart to start beating, or stop beating rather, because I don't want to die.
But ultimately, a good PR spin is
I don't want to hurt the Green Bay Packers organization. Aaron's been too good to us.
That's good. Evan in Washington, what do you want to talk about?
Hey there, Pat and the boys. I just wanted to touch up on that Neuralink thing you guys were talking about earlier. I did some research.
What's Tom Pelissero?
Found that you were going to be uploaded into the cloud after you die. If so, what is your cloud going to look like? What do you want eternity to be like after you die with the Neuralink in your head?
It's going to be a cumulus. It's a big cloud for me, I think. That's what I'm hoping for. I want a cumulus cloud. Your answer, AJ?
I don't have an answer here.
It's probably one of them rainstorm clouds.
Yeah.
If I had to guess.
He's saying the Neuralink. Is he trying to say they can basically make your afterlife what you want it to be?
I think he's saying your actual life is just replayed in a cloud somewhere. So is everybody a potential walking, talking, 24/7 simulation documentary?
Could be. Like Westworld.
I told you I don't plan on dying, so my afterlife is I'm here.
So you'll be able to watch mine, I think, if you just hack into my Cumulus cloud up there and you just kind of take a trip around.
Yeah, I will, for sure. I'll use my Neuralink to hack into yours in your afterlife.
I think we're going to have Neuralinks, by the way.
They're already putting them in animals, aren't they?
Chimpanzees playing pong, yeah. I don't know if, I'm all about the future, and I would like to live forever as well. I've actually said if I get some death fatal thing, freeze me. Okay?
Sure.
Whenever somebody figures it out, bring me back.
Fix it.
Whenever it is. Okay? Just freeze me, do what you got to do, bring me back. I'm living forever. The Neuralink thing, if they said you could live forever on this thing, is that something that's even feasible, I wonder?
I don't know.
I don't think that's part of it.
You don't think that's part of it?
Well, he's going to use it. Elon's explaining he's going to use it first for people that have some kind of disorder or something wrong, maybe with their brain or whatever, that it can help. And then it's like, hey, I want to run a 4-2-40 and be able to communicate without speaking and be able to count cards. Like maybe it's like the CRISPR deal where you can kind of pick and choose what you want.
Oh, so I can go to a store and order what I want. It's going to be like an in-app update or an in-app purchase because I'm definitely going to get Spanish speaking quick.
Oh, that's a good idea.
I would like to know. I would like to learn how to speak every language. Piano too. I think I'd want to. Might as well just do that movie. The Invincible,
Limitless?
Limitless, yeah, where they had those little pills. Might as well, if your Neuralink can be like that, I think that's what you're signing up for, right? Every dollar menu item's coming home with me.
Yeah, for sure. And we'll have to see, obviously, what the human trials look like. Tom Pelissero seems to be working pretty well. So you'd have to think that they're enthused by that.
Let's go to Jordan in Kansas. What's going on, Jordan?
Hey, Pat and the boys, how's it going?
Hey, good, man. Not to be confused with Jordy in Kansas. This is Jordan in Kansas.
Why do you have a lighter down there? Why is there a lighter on the desk?
Smoke dope.
Hey, that desk will never be this clean.
So cool.
Is it legal here? Nobody knows.
Who knows?
Is it legal here? I don't know. I might not be cool. I might just be a
what time
law-abiding citizen.
What time is it there? Do you have to wake up early because it's a different time zone?
What's that, dude?
You heard me.
I didn't get a lot of sleep last night. Okay.
Oh, man.
Is that another guess? Are you trying to make another guess here?
Big. That's no guess. I'm just asking questions.
This is your last one. Jordan, Kansas. What do you want to talk
about? I
about?
got 10 left on Twitter.
Oh, you're playing a game.
I'm wondering.
Sorry, Jordan. What?
I'm wondering if you need to be watching 8 seconds before you go there and visit Jordy.
Oh.
Get you a little bull riding in.
Yeah. Hey, you're 100% right, Jordan. I appreciate that. I just assume everybody in Kansas can ride a bull.
Yeah.
Riding a bike.
I've been to a rodeo, dude. I've seen it. I understand. I've watched, what's that movie where old buddy Matthew McConaughey loses all that weight, goes to Mexico?
Dallas Buyers Club.
I've seen Dallas Buyers Club. I know what it's like.
What, to have AIDS?
Well, that too. I mean, that was a part of it. I don't. But I did experience. I get a chance to kind of see how somebody has to live if they have that. But also, like the rodeo life. Like I got a chance to see what it's like behind the scenes. A lot of beers, okay. A lot of hard times. There's a lot of tough guys. Like, listen, I know what I'm gonna have to get into whenever I get over there. AJ, that's what I'm talking about. Not the AIDS thing. I mean, that was a part of it.
Yeah.
So nobody guessed that. Could you be joining? Is it the PBA, Professional Bull Riders Association?
It is PBA, brought to you by Wranglers. But
that's not the bowling one.
Am I close? Is that?
I thought that was the bowling one.
PBR. PBR. Pabst Blue Ribbon is drank at the PBT.
Yeah, the PBT National.
What are the bull riders? I have a lot of respect for them.
Oh yeah, me too.
What is it though? We don't know.
Yeah, couldn't tell you.
We couldn't.
No way.
Couldn't tell you. It's on the Outdoor Channel. I don't get that one.
Hey, Supercross is fucking legit. We got a lot of appreciation out of the Supercross community for us talking about it.
Mm-hmm.
I will let you know, I know nothing about that sport, but I do see some wicked, insane accidents that happen, and then people just hop right back on their bike and continue to race. It feels like there are rubber humans in Supercross at this point. I don't know how they've accomplished this feat. They might be Neuralinked rubber humans, but the accidents are gnarly, and then they're winning races later somehow.
Exactly.
I don't understand any of it.
Which is why I don't mind saying, hey, we need more accidents in motocross, all right?
Oh, you're a bad guy.
No, it's the best part. Yeah, wow. I mean, especially when those guys are getting back up on the bike all mangled and then getting third place. It's incredible.
It's got a Robin Mitt like that one.
Yeah.
It's got a Robin.
Thank you, Mitt.
It's got a Robin in New York City. There is a Robin. Hold on one second, Robin. There's an update from the NFLPA. Another statement has come out of players that will be boycotting OTAs. This is on behalf of the Chicago Bears players. Same day, Jim McMahon says the Chicago Bears organization is a destination for quarterbacks to die. Now the Chicago Bears players, after a disappointing season last year, now with Andy Dalton as their quarterback going into next season, thoughts of potential Russell Wilson trade that did attempt to go down just a couple months ago. The state of the Chicago Bears is a massive question mark. Now we have one more answer. COVID-19 remains a risk both to our team, our families, and to our fellow NFL players. We also saw the health and safety benefits of a fully virtual offseason as injuries across the NFL were down last year. This is the NFL stats actually being repeated from the NFLPA. We learned that from the Neuralink Tom Pelissero. Players remain unclear about the protocols and protections, and rules remain inconsistent despite the last-minute communication by the NFL yesterday. It is for these reasons that the majority of our locker room are choosing to exercise our right and not participate in in-person voluntary workouts in order to stay as safe as possible. So if it's a majority and if it's many, it's not a boycott, and there's going to be the build that some players hate other players. It's just this is exactly what is going to probably continue to happen. I'm surprised it's only 6 teams. I would assume at this point it would already been 20-some. Tom Pelissero alluded to that earlier. This is very fascinating stuff, AJ Hawk.
Well, I think it's interesting that they say the majority of their players. So you leave it open to the fact that, yeah, there's still guys that are there working out are still going to be able to come into the facility, I guess. But I think, don't you think eventually, though, it's going to be pretty much every team's going to have a statement like this?
Yeah, and then, by the way, at the beginning it was we will be boycotting. Then it was many. Now it's a majority. It's like I think all players are in the same boat here. They're like, can we force a guy who is third year on practice squad, he's only allowed to have 4 years on practice squad or whatever after his 4th year practice squad, maybe a bubble guy that's been around the team. Are we going to be able to tell him he should not go to something that is happening? That's going to be difficult to do, I think, for a lot of guys because they probably very much understand that person's story. I do believe what has to happen for this to really be handled in a fashion that would be couth for both sides is they have to just extend training camp, get rid of OTAs, extend training camp, have an OTA lead into a training camp, it's a best of both worlds situation. I feel like that's the only thing that's going to happen, but another negotiation for another 7 years or something like that.
How early, though? How early would you have him come back for camp, though?
Maybe it's like maybe add another 2 weeks onto it. I don't know. I have no idea.
Long time though. But now though, players, you know how everything is kind of set up around your off-season program of when you can do things. If all of a sudden they say, "Hey, we're not going," you don't have to be in person for the off-season, but camp starts July.
Not camp.
11th.
Not camp though. It's not classified as camp. You know what I mean? Like I think it's actual like.
They're back for good though. That means you're back for good though that early.
No, but I think it's voluntary. So like I think it's actual OTAs, like the OTA rules, like voluntary rules, OTAs into training camp.
What would make players want to go back then and be like, hey, before we start camp, I'm going to be here for 3 weeks?
I don't know. Maybe they'll enjoy like the 3 months off or 4 months off that they got to do by themselves, and they're like, okay, I'll go back or whatever. You know what I mean? Like, and it still gives the opportunity for the young guys to have a time in there. I don't know. Just listening to Aaron talk about the ramp-up period and how it was the first time in his career his arm didn't hurt. And then you hear other players talk about how, like, normally my knees or something like that. They talk about that ramp-up period. So I think you should build off of that in the answer. It's just how do you – I'm not saying that's 100% the right answer. I literally think I thought of it last hour or 2 hours ago. So it's like I'm not 100% sold on this. This is just like – this is an idea, I think, to kind of benefit all parties because this is going to grow to become something now. This is going to be something.
It is something. It's a movement by the PA and the players trying to take a little power back. I wonder if we're going to see a college team come to this conclusion. You think a college team like, hey man,
it's going to be hard.
These workouts, summertime, this running, this brutal. I'm not running 20 gassers a day. We're going to opt out.
Yeah, but then the difference between college and the NFL is those scholarships. They can just
Can they yank them though?
Yeah.
How easy is it to yank them? Because I've talked to many coaches in college that they wish they could cut guys and pull their scholarship, but it's kind of tough. You kind of have to run them off.
I mean, I've seen people get attempted to get run off in person. Oh my God, it is.
That poor kid that told your one coach he had his pinky finger hurt.
Oh my God. Yeah, but it's like that, but it's like every workout for like 3 weeks straight. It's like, all right, we're going to run. If you don't get the time, you got to run again. And they don't get the time. It's like, yeah, we're not. You're gonna have to make this time by the end of the day. You might be here for 9 hours. It's like, oh my God. Same
the caller still on? Is he still on the caller?
Yeah, we'll get to Robin here in a second for sure. But like the college thing, I do believe it's a 1 year deal. I think it's a 1 year deal every single year.
Yeah, it renews and everything. But yeah, I don't know. It'll be. We'll talk to a coach sometime about like, hey, when's the time?
Yeah, he won't tell us the truth though.
Okay, let's talk to a coach that has been fired in college and is kind of bitter now, and because
Coach
of things
JP.
like this.
Slapdick, he ain't.
Well, he was cutting people on Netflix. So you remember, congratulations, motherfucker, you're cut on national TV. He used to do that kind of stuff. So.
Shout out Coach JB.
Yeah.
He's got some stogies, some whiskey on
Yeah,
there.
some pit bulls.
Killing it out there. Slapdick.
Slap.
What did he say?
What's on your mind, Robin?
There you go.
He didn't know if it was you or me.
I don't think you heard. You're going to ask again.
Robin, what's going on? What's on your mind, bud? Sorry, we've been talking.
I don't think I'd ever say what's going on in your mind. So.
Hey, boys, you hear me?
There he is.
Yeah, we can hear you. I mean, you clearly understood that was not me. I mean, Robin, I would hope so at least. What do you want to talk about? I don't know. Robin, what do you want to talk about? It's on your mind.
Shout out to the Washington Wild Hogs. Imagine putting some fucking tusks on the helmet. That shit would be electric.
Oh, my. The Wild Hogs. Bang, 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 bang. Wild Hogs! Oh, the stadium, I could already hear it. Oh, man. Could you imagine Jim Nance? The Washington Wild Hogs. I just think of that. It would be...
Have elected to receive.
Hey, you could have Travolta, Tim Allen, all the guys from the movie ride him out of the tunnel every day.
You hit that earlier. Has that many people seen that movie, Wild Hogs?
I think that is Foxy's favorite movie.
Yeah.
That is an all-time classic movie, and that is why it has to be the name of this team.
Who's all in it again?
I don't know. Tim Allen's in it.
Tim Allen's all you got to hear.
Tim Allen.
Oh, you got to hear this.
Martin Lawrence.
Michigan ass
Yeah,
Foxy.
that's it.
Martin Lawrence.
Martin Lawrence is in this?
Lawrence.
Hey, listen, if Martin Lawrence is in a movie, Foxy,
Yeah.
I don't need your Michigan BS bias to say, all you need to hear is Tim Allen. Listen, I understand he's the voice of Visit Michigan, and I understand it. But if Martin Lawrence is in that damn movie, a little bit more respect, please, out of you, Foxy.
Now, you would actually love this movie.
Travolta's a star, says Diggs.
He is.
I think Tim Allen's a star.
Yeah, well,
of course. Tim Allen gets the boys together.
That's what we've been saying this entire time. Is you're kind of biased in this thing. Diggs, you like Wild Hogs?
Yeah, I think Bill H. Macy's in it. Leota's in it. Fucking smoking Chantix.
Oh, yeah.
You're also coming through in like 720.
Yeah,
there.
what's going on?
What'd you do, Mitt?
Oh, Jay's got an answer. You heard him?
Nah.
I heard Jay say
Yeah.
shitty something.
Yeah.
I heard Jay say
Shitty Zoom link.
Yeah. Zoom stinks.
It does.
For this type of thing. If you want to meet up with 2,500 people.
Yeah, or if you want to, like jerk off in like a company meeting or something, and hope that no one's
Zoom.
looking. It works with that too.
That guy had a good job.
What was his name? He was in the top corner, by the way. That guy, yeah, pretty important, I think.
Yeah.
What was his name? Will Dave? Oh, no.
Oh, no. What is he doing? Someone tell him.
All right.
Jeffrey Tobin.
That was the CNN
Tubin.
guy, yeah.
Yeah, Tubin.
What's that? That's not what we're talking about.
Same deal.
Oh, really?
Oh,
He was
yeah,
Same
just-
situation.
Just assaulting his baloney out there. And when he thought he was alone. He was not.
That had to be. Imagine the other side of that Zoom call.
Oh.
He just gets out of it. Hey, good work today, guys. Leave. All right. He goes out, checks his phone. I have made a colossal mistake.
So sorry.
What have I done?
Why? Why did he choose that time?
I assume this guy now. He loves beating his dick.
Yeah, loves it.
Okay, if you love anything as much as this guy love doing it, you would potentially be maybe the king of the mountain in whatever field you tried to pursue. Obviously, but boy, the thought of
It wasn't his first time either.
No
way.
He's sitting in Zoom calls, by the way, that guy, all day. At some point, he just got to the point where I got things to do. Things I have to do. Things I need to,
Oh, and going forward, too, every Zoom link from there on out was, hey, Jeff, don't forget to not beat your dick while we're having this meeting. All right? Wait till after.
Every
single one. Still doing it, probably.
Who's in the Zoom call today? It's going to be Mark, Sharon. Jeff is going to be in there.
Okay. Someone should warn him.
I wonder how far he got. How far did he get until he realized?
I don't recall the Jeff one. I do recall the other guy who I think he was rather high up in the potential company or did something.
Probably.
And they were all reacting to what's he doing. They actually that has to be worst possible Zoom call outcome for that
Of all time.
Ever.
all right, that's the show.
That's the show you're wrapping up. But would you be able to focus if you're on a Zoom call and you just see someone like in the corner and you're just like, would you be able to focus and not call them out?
No, I'm unmuting immediately.
Oh, yeah.
Unmuting immediately. Be like, hey, bud, you can't hear anything we're saying right now, but I would like to go on record because this is going to get out. Hey, you have ruined everything for yourself. Sir,
Good luck getting over that one.
Your baloney bopping addiction is currently turned into a life ender for you.
Mark, we're on slide 3. If you could please minimize big wet butts for a second.
Good Lord.
Oh, man, I'm happy we remembered that guy.
Oh, yeah.
That poor guy. I'm crying real
He
tears.
won quarantine.
I mean, in
some ways.
It was easily avoidable. You can't really call him poor guy.
Well, you're right. You're 100% right. That fucking stupid ass that idiot guy. Oh, I just saw a squirrel run up a roof that is associated to this house over there. So there's a clue there are squirrels where we are.
Okay.
I just learned that, by the way.
Whoa.
But just like that squirrel trying to find a nut. All right. Robin's still on. Robin, is that all you had to say? Robin, have a great Thursday, Robin, all right? We appreciate you, buddy. All right. See you, Robin.
See you, Rob.
See you, Robin.
Pat.
Yeah, bub.
Justin Fields is now the favorite to go number 3 overall, so that has moved quite a bit in the last few days.
Mac Jones sitting at home loses the number 3 overall pick as Justin Fields in front of a birdie that we know, a general, and some head coaches. All of a sudden, in the desert feels like moved up to number 3. Okay. All right. So now just like we started the show with the Sam Darnold news, everything we were supposed to and had to talk about for 2 weeks, absolute bullshit, just like we had thought.
Yep. Mac Jones also, very small neck.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
I believe I did see that in association with this. So, hey, something to think about.
Hey, Fields showed up.
Yeah.
With a A.J. Hawk-like. I mean, and by the way, I enjoyed the look in the eye from Justin Fields, genuine smile, laugh, and Kyle Shanahan in that photo, right?
Yeah.
Felt like there seemed to be an action. I wonder if Justin Fields was like, like, who gives? They're going to take Mac Jones. Who cares? And maybe like Kyle Shanahan and him like had a connection. It feels like that. Doesn't that look like a genuine AJ? I know I get worked up about a lot of things, and I believe thoroughly in the human interaction process for reading how a person feels. A still shot cannot tell you the whole story. Obviously, we have no idea what was happening here. It looked like genuine happiness there from Justin Fields, did it not? And Kyle Shanahan has a pretty shit-eating grin on that thing as well.
Yeah, doesn't this picture make you can envision months down the road Justin Fields in a Niners uniform with that same look with Kyle Shanahan on the sidelines after a nice big touchdown pass?
And it legitimately looks like Kyle Shanahan has a look, and everybody says Kyle Shanahan's favorite quarterback is potentially the next quarterback. It potentially is him, like, I don't know. It's just that photo was. Why did we not get a live feed of this thing yesterday?
I don't know. Bullshit.
He told him, or Shanahan said, "Hey man, hey let's smile and laugh. Let's make it look like we're gonna take you."
Hey, by the way, Fields is that good of an actor. Not only does he have a photographic memory, he's a good leader, but that guy's got chops.
Yeah.
Because that looks like a genuine smile, happiness there in a very intense situation potentially. And I think that is why it was such a big deal for me. All right, AJ, I got to go do some stuff. Make sure you get your guesses in. Okay, this could happen quickly. Could happen in a couple days. All right, so do what you got to do.
So there's not like, what if you don't like? Okay, there's no deadline. So what if something we don't know by tomorrow night?
Well, there is kind of a deadline though, because all these people, you still want to be the first to get your
answer.
Yeah.
That's there's a built-in deadline in the contest.
Okay, when is that deadline?
To be earlier than whoever else has the same idea.
No. When do you finally announce it? When do people find out if they won or not?
Oh, people will know.
They will know.
The announcement of the winner?
Yeah.
Oh, well, probably the day after it happens. We'll probably have to go.
Okay, well then when does it happen? I'm saying when does it happen?
By the way,
AJ,
we don't know.
down.
We don't know.
Is that man Surrey back there yelling, "Stop trying"?
Yeah. Zito also telling you go fuck yourself. And then Gumpy, there's people, okay, from 5 different states, 2 different countries, in 2 different cities telling you to shut the fuck up right now. That is something that just happened. That is something that just happened.
I am honored.
You did not deserve that. You did not deserve that. I want to let you know. You did not deserve
I am honored, guys. Thank you for paying attention. Thank you. I'm honored.
It's an honor.
AJ,
You don't need to say it.
hey, 2 hours today was awesome with you, man.
Yeah, maybe.
No, it legitimately was. I don't know how it was for you because you've been taking shrapnel the entire time.
No, I haven't. Trust me, this is nothing.
Okay, good.
You should hear how my kids kill me. This is nothing. I can handle anything.
Well, that's because you're always trying to, get around the rules, skirt the rules a little bit. You're always trying to prod around, trying to do things. That's why your kids.
Why wouldn't that guy from CNN just put a little Post-it note over his camera or something just to be sure?
Lives on the edge.
That guy, Urban may hire him. He's definitely.
All right. From all of us to all of you, we can't thank you enough. The only reason why things that are going to be announced in the near future happen is because people choose to follow along with us. I cannot thank you enough for doing that. I will say this every single day that we have a show. I don't fully comprehend why, but I am very grateful for it. From AJ, myself, all the boys here where we are, and back in Indianapolis, thank you for your time. Thank you for your fanhood. Enter into the hashtag Pat's Up to Something contest before somebody else potentially takes your very descriptive answer for $7,500. And we will see you mañana. You're the best humans on earth. We appreciate you. Hammer Down is in 23 minutes at youtube.com/Hammer Down. The boys back in Indianapolis will be giving out locks. We can't thank you enough. You're the best. Cheers. We'll see you mañana.